Welcome to the Green Light Podcast. Beau Cephas, what's up, man?
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm super, man. I turned 33 last Thursday. Family was
Happy
down.
birthday, Beau.
Butter King.
Beating the odds.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yes, it's shocking, really. But
No.
had a nice little birthday weekend.
Enjoy the next 7 years. Because after that, it's
I'll
kind of
do my
around
best.
now, it all goes to shit. when you
Enjoy
get
your
up
remaining
40.
years.
33-year-old butter.
33-year-old butter. Age
What's the
butter.
what's the longest butter can last?
I don't know. I'll put that to the test.
Indefinitely, if it's treated well, Fax.
Hey, I
What
like
up,
that.
Fax?
What's up, dude? How are
I like
you?
the color palette today with the aqua. Is that aqua?
Yeah, fins up. I had to do it.
Fins up, baby. We'll get to the fins in the flyover games. I got some good things to say about the fins
Hawk
today.
Tua is back. I love it,
Hawk Tua. Tua played well. He was off the spot.
bro.
You're gonna make me do the Dolphins game already?
My bad. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
I was saving that for last. Best for last.
And on fantasy, it says I still have 1% to get in to the playoffs.
You're
and,
cooked.
And Jonnu
cooked.
Jonnu Smith.
You're
Woo! It took you the whole season, bro, but he was lighting it up fantasy too.
By the way, when we get to the Bengals, you know they have a 10% chance to make the playoffs. They have 10x your chances of getting in the playoffs. So you might be cooked. But we'll get to that in the Bengals when Nate hits us with his signature segment. Hey, guys, I want to start with a little layup line. I don't know, Beau, you probably saw this on my Instagram, but maybe people didn't see it. Who knew Bill Belichick was a songbird?
Know when to walk away. Know when to run.
This just broke out on set.
Oh my God.
When you're sitting at the table. Time enough now.
Bro.
When the dealing's done.
Listen to him at the end.
A jam. Kenny fucking Rogers. Hold him.
Hold him.
Look, when I seen this, you know what I said? All this did for me
What?
was legitimize the Aaron Hernandez doc.
Why?
They have a scene. With Bill
it, dude.
before he goes out to practice.
Yeah.
And he's like that in his office, and he has music blasting, and he's singing.
Well, it's Bon Jovi. Everybody knew he likes Bon Jovi.
And he's singing just like that.
Yeah.
And then he just snaps it off, and then he walks out, and he's just all business, getting ready for practice. And I was just like, I wonder if this is like a legit scene.
I mean, he evidently likes music. I didn't know he was a Kenny Rogers guy. I knew he was a Bon Jovi guy. But that was fun because it just broke out. Like somebody was humming it or something. Like I think we were talking about somebody in the league, and like you gotta know when to hold them, you know. And then the song broke out, and then I hear Bill's voice.
That's so.
And I'm
great.
so glad somebody got that on camera. So that's layup line today. I don't have any real music for you. But I will say this. The Bengals being cooked, that's music to Dr. Fax's ear, and I wanted to let you do the honors here. I got a Weber grill over here. I'm all hooked up to my shit. Can somebody take the Weber grill and bring it over? And I just want it to be ready for Bengals. No, don't open it yet. I got some America's teams.
Okay.
You might maybe a little early on the Chiron there. It's my fault, not yours.
Okay.
But right now we're in America's teams. I just want you to be able to open that grill when we get to Sunday Night Football.
Okay.
Okay. America's teams. I don't know if y'all have any. Beau, Nate.
It's funny you guys say that. I had an America's team, and it was going to be funny because it was going to be a North America's team. But my guys in Winnipeg didn't pull it out last night.
Can you pull the microphone?
My guys in
closer?
Winnipeg didn't pull it out last night in the Grey Cup.
Oh, damn. The Grey
Bro,
Cup was last night.
They're about to be the CFL Bills, bro. This is 3 straight Grey Cup losses in a row.
No.
Yeah, and it's just like it's hard. You know how it is. It's
Living
hard to
in
get
Win-
back
it's hard to
back
live in
to the
Winnipeg.
to the game, and you do it every single year, and you lose. I know it's tough, but Blue Bombers all the way.
Shout out to the Bombers.
Shout out to
And
the
they had Jason Kelsey on their side because Zach Collaros is the quarterback, and he was Kelsey's quarterback at Cincinnati.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he was cussing up
How
the
old
store.
is this guy?
He's
before
like
the game.
32,
So
30,
he's up there
33.
in Winnipeg just
Yep.
slinging it.
Just slinging it.
Winnipeg Jim Kelly. I
Great
don't mean that in a bad way.
Great place.
But they've lost 3 of them.
There was some excitement during that game, though.
Oh, he's
Fax
getting a
said that
shot
for our
at.
group chat.
Okay, now I knew what he was doing with his hair.
There was. You're right, Bo. We might see that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So
that might be America's team right there. Is that classy lady?
Oh yeah, that lady is going to come up later in the show. Maybe some people who watch the Grey Cup know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay. America's teams, Italians. Tommy DeVito is in the lineup for the Giants. They're done fucking around. They're trying to sell some tickets now, right? No, seriously. I mean,
yeah, they're back. Yeah, that's smart. I mean, he's coaching. Daves is coaching for his life right now. So like, bring in a crowd favorite, a fan favorite, try to win over the media a little bit and the fine denizens of New York City. I think that's a good move from him. Honestly,
nothing like winning over the media and winning over the fans momentarily while you drive yourself down in the standings. Like, and maybe DeVito ends up winning games for them.
I got a marketing idea for the Giants. They should do a $1 pizza night at the stadium in honor of Danny DeVito. If you're in New York,
in honor of Danny.
Yo, you know what it is.
Danny DeVito. Just so we know, Danny DeVito is not playing quarterback.
Are they little
for
short
the Giants.
pizzas?
No, so you don't know. And New York is known for before the inflation. You can stop. And they have spots like it was like Brothers Pizza or different, but $1 pizza. You get a regular slice of pizza for $1.
It's
and
Danny
then
DeVito night.
$1 pizza.
Danny DeVito, legendary quarterback. He's got that pocket presence.
Yo,
you know?
they're starting the shortest
I
quarterback
can
of
do
all
it.
time.
Danny DeVito can do it too.
Quarterback, Danny DeVito from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Boo! All right, well, look at Tommy DeVito.
Tommy.
Yeah.
My bad, Tommy.
Yeah.
And you know what this means?
Sean Stellato.
He's back, bro. I mean, he is so back.
He's got some new suits.
Can you imagine what's his bat signal look like? A calzone?
Yeah, a calzone.
and he's like, oh, they're starting my boy Tommy DeVito. He walks out of a butcher's shop. They got to call him. He's in the butcher's shop.
He takes the smock off or whatever,
Yeah.
throws it in the trash.
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to go any further.
I picture
Although
him.
I'm
He's
Italian,
on his
I don't want to get in
phone.
any trouble.
He's like on his phone, just eating cold cuts straight out of the fridge, like Tony Soprano. That's how he conducts business.
What is it,
Like, he's
gabagool?
not in an office. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's eating gabagool.
You remember that scene, Matt?
How much is his agent's phone blowing up right now that they just announced that he's the starter?
Oh, nonstop, bro. That's what I'm saying. He's doing he's like marketing deals. He's like, I'm getting money now.
Money.
I'm getting money. This thing. I don't know if that's like for us,
It's like
that's
a
money.
fedora.
But for them, it's like
No, it's like this. You know how it's like this?
that's like good, right? That's like
It's also like this. It's
Yeah.
like at the same time.
at the same time.
Like
So
a
that's
2-for-1.
So that's one America's team. Also, shout out to my lineage, the Adenisios. You know, that's my mom's side of the family, so we do have some Italian. I think I lean more Irish, though. Okay. Also, in America's team, 1972 Dolphins. What was the first thing I asked you when
Checking on.
Let's
Larry
check in on
Zonk.
Larry Zonka, our boy. He's in Alaska somewhere, probably watching the game. Just got out of his bush plane. He just killed a fucking bear or something. I don't know if that's in season up there. But the dude is living his best life in Alaska. He's very passionate about that team, and he should be. There was a video of Larry Zonka. Can you pull that video up just while I'm talking about him? I got a man crush on Larry Zonka, dude. Chris Sims last night said he had a man crush on the Chargers, and then they almost lost the game in the second half. Can you pull that video up? I'm just saying that video, like very generally, but it's Larry Zonka and passionately talking about that 72 Dolphins team.
And hey, while we're on this topic, Chris, I know we're doing our mentions during the course of the show now. Okay,
You don't like
my
the new
honor.
look?
No, I like it. My
Okay.
mention is actually the 72 Dolphins best seat.
Oh, best seat
Chiefs.
for sure, dude.
Nice.
Best seat.
Best seat for
Chiefs
sure.
are no longer undefeated, so the 72 Dolphins best seat, baby. They're cracking champagne. Zonka's living his best life, like you said, up in Alaska. So that's my best seat. Just wanted to slip that one in there.
Dude, that's
Get these
awesome.
mentions rolling.
That's great, Bo. That's a way to capitalize on timing in the show.
Great job,
guys.
Bo.
We're a well-oiled machine
Thanks,
right
man.
now. Is that video here? Can you play this video? I fucking love
We
this
took
guy.
the goddamn thing. That's what happened. I'm tired of people telling me how they named us. They named us shit. We took it. have any emotional response.
That's the best part.
That's the best part. Listen.
Team, we took the
Oh, there's more to it, I think. But I want Larry Zonk on this show like the desert needs the rain, dude. I need to go to Alaska. I want to sit down with Larry Zonka by the fire, polish off whatever he likes to drink, and just talk to him for 3 hours, dude. I think he might be the most interesting man in football.
Big Larry.
Up there with John Riggins for me. It's all the Caucasian ball carriers.
And
How did
Danny
you do
DeVito.
it?
Danny DeVito's
Well,
my
it was a
favorite.
long time
All the
ago.
fullbacks.
Yeah. No, but Larry Zonka was a bad boy, and he's passionate about that team. And Danny DeVito. Yeah, we want Danny DeVito on the.
My bad, Tommy. I know your name, bro.
When you do an interview with Danny DeVito, and it's like 2 chairs, do you have to like make arrangements? You know what I mean? Like set arrangements. Do you think
get
he
him a
walks in
cushion.
with like he's like, nope, that's the chair I use. We got to get the camera. That like if he's at the desk, he's on one of those really tall ones. Another America's team. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor.
Oh
Shout
my goodness.
Somebody in my group text the other night was like, I can't believe we stayed up late for that shit. There was supposed to be a great fight. I was like, there was a great fight.
Yep.
It was an incredible fight. And the funniest quote in sports I've heard all year, where Amanda Serrano's trainer, who stole the show from me, after the fight, he's like, listen, Katie's a beautiful person. She's just got an enormous head. Because the story of that fight was Katie Taylor, and I'm no boxing like aficionado, but I feel like she was leaning in with that noggin a lot.
Yeah.
And I also feel like those fights now, like we knew it was rigged, right? We knew something was, it wasn't going to be what we thought it was, right? I learned a couple things reinforced a couple things. Number one, you can look really good hitting a heavy bag. And in a phone booth, I think Mike Tyson would knock all our heads off.
Yep.
But I also think like age is a real thing, and like your legs are a big part of boxing. As you know, Matt, as I know, as Nate knows, we've all been, shout out to George here in town.
Shout out
Our
George.
boxing trainer. But like you gotta have good feet. Your legs gotta be under you. And especially they made the ring bigger. It was like everything about, and I respect Jake Paul's hustle for sure. And I as an athlete, I respect him.
40 mil and 20 mil.
But here's the thing I respect most about him, and this is going to piss some people off that stayed up till 1 a.m. He got Mike Tyson paid.
Yeah, for
$20
sure.
million for that man, and I don't care if we were all ripped off. I don't care if I paid $50 for the fight.
Absolutely.
That's on me, which I didn't. But that's on me as the consumer, and that's on you. If you're upset about that fight, that's on you. What I saw was a guy who probably needed money, who almost died, as he put it earlier this year, who went out there and lasted 8 2-minute rounds or whatever it was, got hit a few times, threw a few punches, and Jake probably could have knocked him down at the very least, but he didn't. And people want to complain and say, oh, you wasted my time. No one cares about your time. No one cares about your time. You had a decision. You could have gone to bed. I could have gone to bed. I didn't. And honestly, I came away from the fight, and I know it was very disappointing to a lot of people, feeling like warm inside. I was like, you know what? That's cool.
And you know
Good
what
on
else?
you, Jake Paul.
And what else is cool is that I think Amanda Serrano is like he backs her. So like one of the reasons why he put her under and he's putting her under all his fights is because like women's boxing doesn't get any shine, and he knows the type of pull he's going to have at all of these fights. So she's been fighting and she's been making a name, and I think those girls, that was like the highest payday ever for boxing and viewing for them also. So
No
it's
doubt.
dope.
Everybody wins, except the consumer, but you know.
No,
that.
but
I mean,
no.
if you're like-
And like you said, they stole the show.
Won a lot.
How about the Indian movie star from India? He had like no
won.
muscles. He was the first undercard. And I was like, what are we doing here? There's no way this guy's going to lose. The the Bollywood industry is not going to send this guy over to get eaten on pay-per-view.
What was Bo about to say?
What were you going to say, bro?
I got 2 things.
I know what he's
Two
about
things
to
I
say.
really like from this fight. The first thing is I think we got a really great look at Mike Tyson, you know? So that brings me to my Bevel Conway Award for this week, which is Mike Tyson's butt cheeks on
Oh
Netflix.
my god!
Oh
That
my
interview,
God, dude.
Yeah.
the walk away from him was pure comedy. That was so good.
He was cheeked
I love
up.
that so much.
Yo, why did I
Cheeked up on Netflix.
Why
bro.
did I just expect Bo to say the ring girls? And he just said
I know
Mike
exactly what
Tyson's-
you were expecting from me.
Mike
I was looking
Tyson's
at Mike
cheeks.
Tyson's
Ring girls didn't
Maybe
move
that's
me.
Iron Mike.
They didn't?
Guys in my group chat talking about the ring girls. I'm not
talking about
moved.
Sidney Thomas.
Oh, there's like a behind the scenes of the ring girls, all of them sitting together, like getting ready to go out and like spraying like stuff on them.
Yeah.
It's a cool video.
It's a cool video.
A cool
Hey,
video, yeah.
I just want to say
Nate's got that one sent out with the Grey Cup, video right next to it.
what was the second thing, Bo? Was two things?
That was
both
the
his
second
ass
thing.
cheeks?
I was gonna say we got a great look at Mike Tyson, and we also got a great look
At
at
the ring girls.
Sidney Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's my
listen.
Bevel Conway.
I thought that was, hey, anytime y'all want to do this shit, I like entertainment. It's not even like, hey, if I wanted to go watch a boxing match, like that I was expecting to see, I would watch boxing on like one of these ESPN broadcasts at night, one of like a Friday night fight or something. Like, but unless you're that guy, if you're that kind of fan, you know better. And if you're not that kind of fan, then you don't love boxing. So like, why does it matter? You got duped a little bit, and Mike Tyson got 20 M's. I'm glad he did.
I bet Katie and Jake Paul to win in a little parlay. And
Katie and Jake Paul.
Yep.
So you liked her enormous head.
Loved it.
You were pulling for that cut. If that was a sanctioned match,
No way you can.
there's no way you're gonna.
I thought her eye was
gonna
gonna fall.
come out through the little slit.
Bro, like it, and then the girl is just like it's. I feel like if you're a fighter, it's human nature. It's just like I got to keep punching at this, and she was, and I was just like, ugh.
That was wild.
Nuts.
I know some people are like, "Oh, I want to talk about football." Okay, and then lastly, America's team. People who were at Bar Bill last night. Is anybody listening? Is anybody watching? Nursing a hangover in Buffalo. In the chat, talk to me. I said this on my little live show last night. If you could teleport me anywhere in the world, it wouldn't be the pyramids. It wouldn't be Machu Picchu. It wouldn't be, it would be Bar Bill in Buffalo last night. Somebody said that this was the loudest they heard that stadium on that 4th and 2 last night. And so we're going to talk about that game in a moment. But first, Nate. Hit it, Nate.
Uh-oh.
Give me the grill, bro. Give me the grill. Give me the grill.
Pass the
Put it up here so
grill.
people can see it. Put it carefully without the top falling off. Holy shit, guys.
Wow.
This isn't rocket science. You
Great
just use
handles.
both the hands.
It's Reed's weak ass wrist.
Okay. Well, here's what we're gonna do. And this pains me. And they are not mathematically eliminated. They might be the best team to ever get cooked this early. I mean, some of the things that
I hope it's who I think it is.
I don't want to say who it is.
Ugh.
You ready to open it up?
Yeah.
Okay, open it up. Oh shit, the tape's not holding. But
Oh
We're gonna-
man.
we're gonna roast this thing. We're gonna get some.
They're eating the cats.
They're eating the cats.
They are
The
eating.
Bengals are probably cooked. Like there's no, they're cooked. They'd have to win.
Here's
out.
what's crazy.
If they're
Listen-
not,
listen.
they're not cooked if they don't win. If they win out, but like who's expecting that? Because they invent new ways to lose games.
Oh man.
They have the
Oh,
passing
man.
league leader, the touchdown leader, the receiving touchdown leader. They have a sack leader, and they're 4-7. It's incredible, man. It's crazy how they're losing games.
And it's not even like, listen, I want to say the head coach is fucking up because he is. He's making game decisions, in my opinion, that are like he doesn't know where he is in the game sometimes, which to me is like you can be a great play caller.
They're not as bad as some other coaching decisions that we've discussed
question.
on
But
this illustrious pod.
Yeah, but
they're
the
just paying for it more.
But
you
the
know?
subtleties of the mistakes you make, like
What about Jamar Chase calling them out?
Jamar Chase, that's not a good
Beep,
thing.
beep,
But also,
beep,
like,
beep.
if I'm the kind of guy that like you feel like you got to stick up your employer to get paid, like fuck them all.
Exactly.
But I will say this: as I watched the fourth quarter, I felt like the Chargers passed the baton to the Bengals. For years now, it's been chargering. Now it's bangling or bungling, and it felt like all in one. It was poetic. Sometimes the NFL is like poetry. Sometimes the NFL is like it just makes a lot of damn sense. And everything happens. There were narratives on narratives on narratives. Like as this is happening, Herbert has this seven pass incompletion streak, and you're like, here we go again. And now everybody that wants to say he's trash is going to be able to say he's trash for the rest of the year or until they get in the playoffs and win a damn game, which wouldn't be
Nate,
true,
or-
huh?
That seems like a Dr. Fax take to me.
No, I'm not talking about you.
No,
I don't think he had that take.
I'm just trying to poke the bear a little bit. See if
I said early. I'm telling you,
Herbo's a dog.
No,
Herbo's
he's a dog,
bro. He's a dog.
He is.
Dog.
And to what you just said, like it's funny because it switched where the Bengals used to be the team that you don't want to play, and now the Chargers is the team that you don't want to play.
No, you don't, because they have a lot. They have a lot going on both sides of the ball. But I will say this: they tried their best to charge her in the second half, and like if it's not for those McPherson missed kicks, I worry the narrative like on Justin Herbert is bigger than ever, which would have sucked because I thought he was lights out for a lot of the game. And I also thought they asked him to do a lot in the second half. Okay, like they abandoned the run game, which to me was a little curious with a lead. But when your guy's that efficient, I get it. Now, this is their first field goal win, like a 3-point or less win in like 10 games that it came down to a field goal. I don't think they've won a close game in forever. So this was huge for Justin. It's affirming for the coaching staff. It's affirming for the culture. It's affirming for the team. And on the other end of it, the Bengals are in the fucking Weber grill with an apple. And I don't know why they put an apple.
You want
in why do they put an apple in the big flavor?
Flavor.
I figured.
Flavor.
You want to know something that
What?
you're probably going to be surprised to hear?
What?
The Bengals, since they do need to win out,
Yeah.
they have a bye week. What a perfect time for a bye week right now.
Oh, it's the perfect but the worst too.
It's the perfect. If you reset,
It would have been better like 5 games ago, and then they wouldn't be in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
no, for
Think
sure.
about it from that perspective.
For sure.
But look at that. Look at all this. Chargers second half mismanagement. I have started 27-6 on 4th and goal last night. I'm like getting ready to go to bed. I'm like going to bed during a Sunday night football game. I'm in bed.
Not so fast, my friend.
And Minter brings the house and leaves a guy on Jamar Chase, and you're like, oh, here we go. They come out, they throw the ball twice consecutively, 3 times, took a sack on 3rd down. You're like, what are we doing? And you could just feel it. There's a Herbert fumble. There's a roughing that negates an interception. Slater holds Hendrickson, and they got a punt, and they give him the ball back with 5 minutes to go. You're like, I know how this ends. But the Bengals missed the 2 field goals. And I hate in a game that's played by football players, and we're going to evaluate these 2 football teams. It comes down to a guy who plays fucking video games during practice. I'm not saying McPherson does. I'm saying they all do.
Hey, Chris, there was a lot of kicker issues, and we talked about this on the pod last week with daylight saving time.
They're
I don't know
off.
what it was, but
It's fallback.
dude, they're off. And think about how good they were at the beginning of the season. Dudes were hitting like 65-yarders like it was nothing. Now you have Justin Tucker, who's actually my hollow man this week. We'll get to that a little bit. But he missed 2 kicks. He's no longer the most efficient kicker in the history of the NFL. McPherson missed kicks. The dude from the Browns couldn't kick to fucking save his life.
Dustin Hopkins.
Bass missed a kick that the extra point that could have ended up being very big at the end of the game if things would have gone differently. Like, it feels like there were a ton of kickers that were just spraying the ball everywhere.
Number one, the weather's starting to change, but some of these kicks are indoors. And so I do think our fallback theory actually works here.
They're tired.
Because, people are all tired. And then you go out west, and it's almost midnight. Like, ahead of that game, McPherson should be kicking it at 11:30 at night. I don't know if he's like a 10:30
this is what I
bedtime
think,
guy.
Chris.
He probably is.
Yeah.
He's probably a
For sure.
9:30
Yeah,
bedtime guy.
earlier. Yeah.
So, like,
Well, Chris, this is kind of what I was thinking, though, and I want to hear what Dr. Fax has to say about that. I think kickers in the NFL, like league-wide, are just kind of on notice after last week with the 49ers. I think they're kind of running scared from the likes of Debo. I think that's kind of got
you
them.
think they're shook
a little-
of what happened.
I think they're a little shook because of that
Not
physical
shook enough.
confrontation. That's the most physical confrontation a kicker has ever experienced. So I think the kickers group chat. There's only 32, 33 kickers in the NFL. I think they're all kind of talking about that. I think they're a little nervous, and I think that's affecting their performance.
Here's one thing I wanted to bring up. Now, we're BetMGM people, and there's a Dolph Lundgren commercial with FanDuel where he's karate kicking lobster, and it's actually it's not the worst commercial. And he's talking about, bet the Eagles. He's saying they got a kicker. He never misses. Is this Russian interference?
It is.
Because he's Ivan Drago.
Yeah,
He's mad about the Philly
He'll always
thing.
be
He's mad about
Drago
the
to me.
statue. He's
Yeah.
jinxing Jake
Yeah.
Elliott. And so I think Philly fans should be thinking about this. Like, we need to
Yeah.
get that damn commercial off TV. Can we buy that commercial out?
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. They're as bad as I don't feel for kickers sometimes. it can be one of the hardest things in the world to watch a man melt down on national TV. And it happens, and when it happens, it's like a dog that is like, you know, when the dog goes blind and like the right leg doesn't work and you're just like, man, it's kind
It
of
just
like
all happens at once.
it all happens at once, and it feels like watching
Yeah,
Justin
every
Tucker and McPherson and like Jake, and like I believe in Jake still, but
Yeah.
it's just hard to watch these guys
Damn.
fumble over the thing that looks so easy for them all the damn time.
But
You're
at the same time,
inside.
they're kickers, so it's like fuck them. Like just
yeah,
practice
that's
a
what
little
I'm
more,
saying.
you
It's
know?
a total.
So
It's
like
a weird feeling
dichotomy.
I have. Should I hate
Yeah,
them?
I'm
Should I
with you,
laugh
man.
at them? Not
Oh.
when I had the Bengals.
You know who else I could say fuck them to?
What?
And my hollow man this week
Yeah,
is going to the refs, the referees. Like
they're bad right
they-
now,
bro.
They
Like
are. They're
how
bad right
how do you not know the rules? Like
On the-
Trey Hendrickson, he gets that horse collar.
It's in the pocket.
It's in the pockets, in the rules that when it's in the pocket on the quarterback, it is not a penalty. For the refs, immediately not to know that, and for whoever's listening to New York and whoever calls in, for them to immediately say, pick up that flag, it's not a flag, and let it go. I don't understand what's going on.
Let me lend a little. The devil needs no advocate, especially in a circumstance where a pass rusher gets a flag. And by the way, that was a grounding before the half, wasn't it? And that should be a runoff. Okay, so all that matters. And when you look at the kick in Chicago, and Pat McAfee cried foul this morning, I trust him. He's one of the best punters of all time. He knows the fucking rules. Okay, he says that should be a penalty everywhere, all over the league.
He was talking about the A-gap penetration.
Yeah, they're blowing
McAfee?
calls.
Oh, I
but
missed
here's
that.
what I'll say about the Trey Hendrickson thing. Okay, at first I was like, come on, and then Trey like threw him down. Like, I'm just telling you, I'm not saying it's the right call, but I've been around the quarterback as much as anybody in the room, and I'm just telling you, I'm super nervous if I'm the guy that does this to the quarterback by the collar.
Yeah.
They didn't call it a horse collar, did they?
I'm not sure.
They called it roughing.
Roughing.
Okay, and so for me, I'm looking at him saying like, and Trey had an offsides where he got a little, like Trey wanted that thing bad last night. You could just tell
Yeah,
he's
he did.
rushing his ass off. It's a ticky-tack damn call, but when you put yourself in those positions, you just said it. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
They're officiating has gotten worse. And what's terrible is replays, the vantage point we have, I always say this, has outpaced the officiating. And so they've always been probably shaky as hell. You know how many calls our parents' generation of refs missed? Like they were just like, yep, end of the game. Like that was the worst call ever. Not a fumble at all. The tuck rule, like things like that.
Yeah.
Just so
Mary.
and there was a tuck rule kind of deal
May.
yesterday with Drake May.
Yeah, the fumble.
Yeah.
Remember that fumble though? There's a fumble for the Broncos, Reed, that was very perplexing. The
It
fumble,
was that was on a
incomplete
fourth
pass, and
down.
then it was decided it was a
Terrible
fumble.
call in the end zone in the Minnesota game.
Yes.
The guy for the Titans, the backer for
Mike
the
Brown.
Titans, Mike Brown, blows up
Perfect hit.
perfect hit. It's the only place you can hit the guy
Yep.
and take the ball off, and it's perfect. So, anyways, before we go down this road on the refs, I just want to say, it's not my hollow man goes to McPherson. I was going to give him worst plane ride, but the Jags exist. Okay, so I cannot imagine McPherson on that ride home. I mean, he just went to bed. Like when I woke up this morning, he just went to bed. Those are terrible. Those flights back east after a
long
game like
one.
that, after you miss 2 field goals, and it was like he missed them. And the succession of missing those field goals, it was to the point where like people on the side were like, "Come on, you fucking idiot!" You know what I mean? Like usually you're like, and you said it. It's the only position where they pat you on the head when you do something wrong. And last night it was like the sideline was just like, enough, man. Enough, bro. So it wasn't just missed field goals. It's the ineptitude in the red zone early. It's Chase Brown, who played great. You know, little moments like Chase Brown not cutting that ball up. You know, like being behind the sticks in a big possession. You know, it's a Jamar Chase drop. It's a Mike Hilton dropping a pick six. We're talking about they're not in the grill. So, and when you want to talk about what makes a bad team bad, because they're the best bad team I've ever seen, and it's two sides of the same coin. So it really doesn't matter because the net is mediocrity. Okay, you miss a bunch of hidden plays That's what bad teams do. They miss a bunch of little opportunities to right the ship. They can do all the spectacular shit. They can go 4th and 2 bombs over Baghdad to Higgins. Higgins is strong with the ball the whole night. Burrow is outrageously good. It's shaking off Derwin James, and they missed the face mask on that one by the letter of law with the new rule. But the whole thing is, when you miss little plays like that, Mike Hilton picked, and he played heroically at times late in the game for an older guy in man coverage, but obviously he got cooked by McConkey when it mattered. It's the 3rd down before the Chargers get the ball back and win the game. I thought Burrow had Tanner Hudson underneath. And there were a number of moments in this game where I'm like, just take the profit, complete the ball, and keep the clock running. They had so many opportunities to run the clock down and win the game, and they just fumbled. And they go to Burton in too many situations. Perryman's on the sideline for a lot of the second half, and I'm like, just run the damn ball a little bit more. I understand, you've been in this mode of feverishly trying to kick the doors in for 30 minutes because you're down 21 points, but there are times, too, where you got to take – and this is what I'm saying about Taylor not knowing where he is in the game. Do you remember the Ravens game in Cincinnati where they get in field goal range to win the game and they get conservative? Okay, that wasn't the time to be conservative. This was the time to be conservative in some spots and run a little clock and make them use timeouts and take the profit. That Tanner Hudson play, that haunts you a little bit. I don't know if Burrow saw that at the moment. He definitely knows now. But I think it was Burrow playing that good and Herbert out-dueling him in prime time feels like he exercised the demons. This is one of those games where it's like, okay, that 400-pound gorilla is off my back now. I am no longer the person that blows, end-of-game situations, and you damn near did. But he had the ball last, basically. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he hits that out and up to McConkey, and it was just an incredible game, period. And it's a shame that one of those two teams is going to the playoffs, and the other team's going to be at home. I asked this question earlier. I said, when's the last time an offense like this was at home in January? I said, Matt, look it up for me. What was the team you named?
2010 Chargers.
2010 Chargers. Mm-hmm. It's more poetry. Mm-hmm. It's more poetry. They had one of the best offenses in the league, maybe the best offense in the league.
Second best offense in the
league. And they didn't go to the playoffs. And
Lost
I said,
a couple close games.
I said, hold on a minute, players, one more. 2013, off the top of my head, 2012, because the year after Spags got fired in St. Louis as my head coach. And this is what's amazing about the NFL. This guy is a legend as a D coordinator. There was a year where he went down to New Orleans and they couldn't stop anything. And they were the worst defense in the league. I mean, it was historic bad. They went 7-9. They had the best offense in the league, and they don't go to the playoffs. And so now you're up there on the wall with these teams, and you're wasting Joe Burrow's prime.
Hey.
And I don't know if they're ever going to fire that coach. I don't know that we should be talking about firing that coach because at the end of the day, the reason they're here is largely the defense this year. But it's not insignificant that he's coaching for the Bengals because the Bengals do not want to eat up the back end of guys' contracts. They don't fire coaches.
And it's noticeable. Jamar Chase was saying that in the locker room yesterday. He said, ask the coaches. I only play football on the field. Ask the coaches. I don't call the plays.
But, guys,
brutal.
If you believe in conspiracies like me, you would have known it was written in stone that the Chargers are going to win this game. The brothers' theory is still alive.
Still alive.
And guess what? It'll be alive for next week, too, because they play each other. That means one of them has to win. Unless if they tie, that would be a real wrenching thing.
You never said they can't.
I never said that. I said they can't.
Bet on the tie, Nate. I know you love to chase some of these bets. Bet on the tie. What an odd
Hey, we might have hit 3 really good theories so far this year. We had the Lions hangover. We had the fall back. And now we've got the you started it with the Harbaugh theory.
Harbaugh.
So let me say this one last thing about this game. Bevel Conway. I mean, if this game was played outdoors, uniform porn. And I got to say, this is the Bengals, maybe their best get up. The orange pants is great. Everybody looked great out there last night. Good job.
And Joe Burrow
I actually had an anti-bevel.
Joe Burrow better not be Bo's drip king, but keep going.
I had an anti-bevel, and it is related to Joe Burrow. It's just Joe Burrow is playing great. He's got 27 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's leading the league in passing, and every week we see him sitting dejectedly on the bench, and it feels like a wide shot, like a 0.5.
Oh, he looks
He's like
so
no one around him, and he looks so dejected.
so flat. So
It's just
and
like-
not flat
yeah.
like I'm giving up, but he just looked like I was sitting there thinking, I don't care how bad my day is, I might not want to be Joe Burrow. How hard is that to say? Like, I don't want to be Joe Burrow. How great would it be to be Joe Burrow? But like watching him on the sideline there, it's like he's trapped. Like that feeling is trapped. It's like, bro, like I'm playing my heart out, dude. I'm playing at an MVP level. He'd be in the conversation if not for the fact that this
playing
damn
great.
team is so bad. And what more can he do? Which calls into question, evaluating the MVP award the way we do. Because like, if they won more games, he'd be the MVP. But do nothing different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
He's the only QB since the merger to lose 3 games in a season with 300 plus passing yards, 3 plus TDs, and 0 interceptions. Brady has done that twice in his career.
wow.
Burrow's done it 3 times this
Now
year.
here, some talking head is going to say, oh, it's Burrow's fault. And we've had some people, I mean.
Organization's
Chris
fault.
Canny's my dude. He taught me how to 2-gap at Virginia. That's my guy. First Lev sled I ever hit. Chris Canny's standing behind me. He goes, oh, you might be all right. And I'll never forget it. I was like, oh, cool. But I totally disagree with his take. I totally disagree with his take that he kind of held on to for a while this year was like, Burrow's the problem. Burrow's far from the problem, bro.
Yeah, Burrow looked cool as hell entering the stadium. Facts. Like I take issue with that. He looked good, man. It's,
What
really
was he
cool.
wearing? Oh, he was wearing
He
the
had this sick
Kamala.
little
He was
crop.
wearing
Yeah.
the same
The blue,
outfit as
yeah.
Kamala.
A crop
Yeah,
top
the baby
suit
blue
jacket.
crop top, wide.
It was
pants.
the
I like
same
it, dude.
outfit, bro.
Exact-
Like
It
the
was
look
pure
look-
Gen Z. That's pure Gen Z right there.
Dog,
Hey, you just wouldn't get it, man. You're not 33 like me. You're not a young buck, all right?
bro,
You're old.
you do have
Look
some
at these
outfits.
styles.
You got some fits, boy. You got
Well,
some
shit I
fits.
was
love it while it lasts, Bo. You have 4 more years till you catch up with me, man. So
Yeah. Well, just wait till you.
Then I'll
catch
be
up with
old
me
and
then-
wise and firing off sage old takes. on the
Sage
internet.
takes.
It's like you, baby.
But their playoff chances swung 28% with those kicks. It's guys inside playing video games and shooting pool. The sport is
I
the
haven't
sport
liked
can be really
McPherson.
cruel.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Sport can be
but
really
I don't
cruel.
like him ever since he stayed out for that halftime show.
Oh yeah.
That's bothered me for years, man. It's like
Who did that? Who did that?
Do
I don't
it.
like
Talk
that.
about it.
That's
Talk
that's
about it,
always
bro.
bothered.
Who did that, Bo?
The kicker
Evan
stayed out for the
McPherson,
halftime
yeah.
show. I don't even remember who it was.
There was Snoop Dogg,
It was
Dr. Dre,
Super Bowl
Eminem.
halftime show.
Yep,
Yeah,
Kendrick.
and it was a big thing at the time. It's like, yeah, I agree, man. Like, you're here to win the fucking Super Bowl, all right? You're not here to watch the halftime show.
Remember when we thought that quarterbacking was like, oh, all those guys left. Phillip Rivers is gone. Eli Manning's gone. Obviously Brady and Manning, but like Brady and Manning we have in the next game, in my opinion. Like that's your Brady and Manning now. I mean, like it took a while for Peyton to win a damn Super Bowl. Okay, we've got Joe Burrow. We've got Justin Herbert. We got Jared Goff. We have Lamar Jackson. I should have put him sooner. But like, and if I'm forgetting a damn guy, forgive me.
Nix.
Bo Nix.
Bo.
Best work. And by the
God's
way,
QB.
this quarterback class might be really good.
Oh yeah.
I'm just the way Bo's coming along, and we'll get to Bo Nix in a little bit. So the NFL's alive and well, bro. Alive and well. We just got to fix some of the officiating
We are back.
and some of the damn uniforms.
We are back.
The NFL's always been back, man. It's
Always.
Chris, those guys you're talking about, like the superpower quarterbacks right now, they all lost this weekend.
Yeah, no,
Mahomes lost. Burrow lost.
except for our guy Josh Allen.
Well, obviously, Josh.
Are we?
So let's talk
there
about
was-
it again.
Are we?
And Lamar Jackson lost. All the best AFC quarterbacks lost.
Yep.
We're 100% throwing the stamp on the Bengals.
I'm like I'm 10% they're not cooked.
You're heating up the iron.
But I'm 90% they're cooked. How's that for a?
Can we look at their thing? Because I
How's
looked
that
at
for?
this.
I start walking your way, you start walking mine.
They have 10%. Their current playoff odds are 10%.
10%.
Depends what you look at. The Athletic
Yeah.
has them at 22%.
So look, they have
look
the
at the rest of their
Steelers.
schedule,
Look,
though.
they have Steelers twice.
Yep.
But look, the next game after the bye is the Steelers.
Cowboys.
Probably the hardest game
Yep.
that they have to play. If they win
think
that,
they can beat the Steelers.
if they win
Yeah, I
that,
think they can beat the Steelers.
yes. Like, I think they could beat every team.
That's the sick part about
and that's
this.
the sick.
It's
yeah.
just like, bro, like the way you evaluate most teams, it just doesn't apply to
It
them.
doesn't, but
Because-
for them, they find ways to lose
And I'm so
games.
glad you said it the one time, because this whole time with this thing where I was like, I'm planting my flag on the Bengals. Last year it was the Chiefs, and I was like, oh, gangbusters. And then this year I'm going to do it again with the Bengals. And you said it like a month in. You were like, bro, like this is the rightest you've ever been and still been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even feel wrong. Like, like sometimes when I have a take and like at the end of the day, you're like, oh, this is embarrassing. I'm not even, it's not my fault. It's their fault. You know what I mean?
And the irony,
their fucking fault.
The irony of the way this schedule sets up, and I don't even want to put this out there, but I'm going to say it because it's probably going to happen. The Bengals, if they're running the tables, they can ruin my Broncos bet.
Oh.
If the Broncos are on
You know
win
what else
8,
just ruined
looking
your
for win
I'm
9,
gonna tell you what just ruined your Broncos bet.
that kick last week.
No, the next game we're about to talk about.
Okay.
Buffalo, Kansas City, because now it's a race.
Yeah.
Now it's a race. Okay.
And we'll talk from.
I definitely want to talk about BetMGM, because as you know, we've teamed up with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all our picks, and we'll have special offers for you listeners each week. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Number 1, download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Number 2, deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. Number 3, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up. Do that last part, please. Okay, along the lines of what we just said, those two quarterbacks that played in Buffalo yesterday, and I know Mahomes didn't have his best game, and honestly, Josh had some moments where he wasn't his best. But, like, my kids are going to remember watching them. And I said last night in the live stream, I'm going to be talking my damn grandkids' ear off at the dinner table, and they're going to be like, get this guy out of here. Grandpa's going off about Josh Allen on Facebook again. Seriously, he's drunk again. He's talking about Josh Allen. Or Patrick Mahomes. And people are going to be like, yeah, we get it. They didn't have to go on 4th and they went anyways.
Yo, there's a video that Meg should redo. You're the white version of this girl. She went viral for saying, I think my boyfriend is emotionally cheating on me with LeBron.
Yeah, I'm with Josh Allen.
Because of his fandom with LeBron and how he talks about him. Like, that's how you talk about Josh.
I love Josh, bro. I just do. And part of it is I love the fact for him that he proves a valuable lesson. Like, you can't write people off. You can't write people off. People develop. Quarterbacks develop. I just think about playing on his team and thinking about him like trucking people and like wanting to go play harder and never feeling out of it on third down. For years on teams I was on, I just like when it was third down, I got my helmet. And so like when I got to New England and Brady's just like picking people apart, I'm like, oh my God, like this is cool. I can just watch. So as a D lineman, maybe I'm a little bit like head over heels for quarterbacks, because for a lot of my career, when we had them, they were hurt or we didn't have them at all. Or, I'm enamored with it when I see it because I never experienced it. Like, I experienced it late in my career, but it took a long time for me to see good quarterback play. And I went from the outhouse to the penthouse, like watching Tom Brady every day and then watching hot Nick Foles. Like heater Nick Foles. Like, that's insane. So when I watch Josh Allen, I'm a fan. And when I watch Mahomes, it turns me into a fan, and I can enjoy the game. Like, I'm just level with y'all in the chat. Like, this is a job for a lot of the time where I enjoy watching football, but we watch so much damn football. I got to take Saturdays off. I don't watch college football. Like, at the end of Sunday nights, I'm just like, at the end of this show, when I go home and hug my kids, I'm like, I feel like it's been 48 hours straight of football. Like, I don't take any breaks all week watching tape. So there are times where I feel like I'm just grinding, and there's times when I'm watching this game where I feel like I felt 7 years ago when I was a player. And, for me, it was appointment viewing every January. I knew I was going to be at, the Irish pub here watching, whether it was the Mile High Miracle or like, I got to be a fan because I never played among greatness, but watching it makes me feel like a fan again. And so I love watching these two quarterbacks play. Josh didn't play perfect. You know, he wants to pick back, although I don't know if that's a miscomm or what. I mean, he's not like just missing. He missed Samuel on a 3rd and 7 out of the half, which I thought was big, and then could have been big. And then he missed Morris, which would have ended the game. Like, those are the throws he wants back. And I feel like the Bills in general have multiple opportunities to put this thing away, up a score, including 4th and 3, where they go for it. And I just mentioned the throw, and Romo's like, oh, they should have kicked. Romo forgot that Lance Bass is like Lance Bass.
Tyler
Bass.
Tyler
My Danny DeVito.
Lance Bass.
Hey,
Lance
Lance
Bass.
do you think Lance Bass could
Lance
keep Lance down?
Is that the NSYNC guy?
Is that the NSYNC guy?
The NSYNC guy?
How many famous Basses are there? There's just 2. So here's the thing. I feel like Josh on that 4th and 2 had his Heisman moment. If this was college football, you'd say that guy's winning the Heisman. And I know it doesn't work like that. You got to wait to the end of the season. It's more so in the NFL. It's like the collection of your work over the course of a year. But I thought that moment was incredible. And then on a week where Lamar doesn't play great, you're kind of like, oh, Josh is ahead. I thought that moment, somebody said it was the loudest the stadium's ever been, you know, and I believe it. He personifies that. Like, no quarterback, Mahomes, but like Josh Allen is so Buffalo, dude. He's so Buffalo.
I wonder if they're going to come out and say it was louder than the Beastquake if they got like.
Couldn't be. That Beastquake, that's another moment for me as a fan back in the day. Like, I'll never forget where I was when I saw that. And guess why they're in the playoffs? Because we lost to Charlie Whitehurst.
Damn.
Okay? We were 2 weeks ago. We would have got our ass kicked by the Saints. So I'm kind of, you know. But when you look at this matchup, and Spags could be holding things back defensively, certainly. But more than anything, and I say this with all due respect to Chiefs and Chiefs fans, like, you know I had your back last year, and when I think something, I'm just going to say it. I wonder if the subtractions on the Kansas City defense paired with the additions to Buffalo's offense make this a tough matchup no matter when it's played. And I know it's been regular season playoffs, but it's been razor thin. Lance Bass, Tyler Bass, missing a big kick last year, the overtime game. I'm not saying, you know, they didn't win it fair and square, but it wasn't what Josh did. Josh has given them fits. They haven't given up 28 points in a game in, 30 games? This offense is different. It's going to be hard to get them off the field, and they were down Keon and Kincaid. So those are huge, huge pieces. They win without him, and then, like, you know, having Amari Cooper just for the couple shots you throw at Johnson. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, to have a guy like that who can catch a 50-50 ball, and it's not going to be 50-50 with Josh. It's going to be 80-20. You know, he's just got to catch
he made that
the
one-handed catch look so casual, man. And then
Crazy.
he was tracking that one like over his shoulder. It was so nice. He only had 2 catches, but I feel like he opens things up so much for their other guys on offense, like Mac, Shakir. Like, dude, Khalil Shakir is balling right now.
Shakir gave his liver up
slot
for the game. Yeah. 4 minutes to go in the game to hold on to that football. I don't know if they win that game if he don't hold on to that football. And he's been
he started to get up and then went back down. That's how you know that shot.
That shit hurt. That shit hurt. That felt like Tyson.
What did the announcer say about his backside? Absolute wait.
I don't know, but how about last night where Perryman absolutely speared some guy in the back, and they were like, and they're rubbing lotion on his back on the sideline. I'm like, I don't think that's lotion. I think that's like VMSO or Icy Hot or
some Bengay. Some
Bengay. But another guy I want to mention, and I said it right before he went off. I was like, bro, they need to get the ball to Samuel more. I really think that's one guy in their offense that can do a lot of stuff for them down the stretch. He's great after the catch. He drew a big penalty on a 3rd down. This offense is it's hard to get him off the field, dude. When you have Josh on 3rd and 9, is there a quarterback in his current circumstance that you're more confident is going to stay on the field? That's the question. That, to me, is the question. No, because he doesn't have the receivers they have. Mm-hmm. And honestly, he's got great. He's a great runner, but Josh is.
He's really hard to. I mean, no, he's so. I mean, I was stunned that the Chiefs didn't have any sacks. And it didn't feel to me like I got to go watch this again, but it didn't feel like Spags brought a lot of those exotic pressures that he's known for.
Yeah.
You know, like it didn't feel.
He probably holding some stuff back. He's holding some stuff back, no question. But I just want to say, because I'm going to be asked in January when they play each other, it's going to be hard for me to not take the Bills, even if it's a coin flip game. I'm not saying they own them. Fuck no. This is the best rivalry. Not a rivalry and they hate each other, but like as far as like a viewer is concerned, love watching these two play. And Kansas City could certainly win that game. They're the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're trying to three-peat. But I do think the matchup favors the Bills in a way that it hasn't in years past. And so,
especially in Buffalo, man. But in Kansas City at Arrowhead, you could see it going, 24-17 Chiefs.
You certainly could. You certainly could.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be 17 though, bro. That's the thing. It might have to be 31-24. It might have to be 30-27. And so like now you
especially
look at
if they get Coleman and Kincaid back, you know.
And on defense, they're going to get Milano back at some point. Like they've missed guys throughout the year on that side of the ball. So Chiefs had a 91% chance of the 1 seed. Now it's a 54% chance. And that's my point about the Broncos. At the end of the season, now you're going to play the Broncos in Week 18, and it might matter.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry for your bet. But I also think the Broncos are legit good.
Yeah. And before we move on, I'm giving my best flight. This might be a shocker. My best flight is going to Andy Reid. I think this flight home, knowing you don't have to think about running the tables and people worrying about that, the team worrying about that. Now you can a team that's good, you can really coach them up hard, sturdy right now after a loss, and like get things together. I feel like that's probably like just not even having that thought or thinking about guys worrying about that now. And I feel like that affects your coaching and your decision making down the line in the organization. If they're worried about running the tables, if you should play guys, if you should sit guys, all that's out the window now.
And here's the thing about that 4th and 2. I just want to say this. I don't think they go if Butker's out there. And so, and also to Nolan's point earlier, like there have been a number of this matchup has come down to who's had the ball last, which is another reason why when people say, well, you beating Mahomes in the playoffs, it's a totally different deal. Okay, well, Josh has done everything humanly possible to beat Mahomes in the playoffs. He couldn't do any more. So really what it comes down to is, like, can you keep pace with Buffalo now? And that's a different conversation. The Chiefs are going to get Pacheco back. They're going to get guys back. Got it. But I do think on the defensive side of the football, L'Jarius Sneed's not walking through that door. Willie Gay's not walking through that door. And as much as I like the guys and Spags is great, it's just going to be hard to get them off the field. And so we're talking about, Bill's offense. Let me talk about Bobby Babich and Sean McDermott. And we met Bobby, and I met Sean up there when we went, and like Bobby's the man, dude. He's super cool. I was like, when he rolled up on us, I was like, this is the D coordinator. He's so chill, bro. Like he can. Nobody gets little guys to play bigger. Said 100 times than Sean McDermott, and now Bobby Babich as well. Cam Lewis, Teron Johnson, or Taron Johnson, I was told. I've been saying that wrong for years. Rasul Douglas, making a big play on third and 1. Eight targets between D-Hop and Kelsey. Like, that's intentional. And in the first half, when possessions are at a premium in the game, they made big plays, whether it's the pick, whether it's the spy with Bernard, which was brilliant. You take the inside move with the right end, you force Mahomes you invite him away from his throwing hand, and Bernard scrapes off. It really is less of a spy than it is like a design spy kind of play. But, like, I love their defense. They'll only get better. And, again, 91%, now 54%. The Bills have the tiebreaker, and the Steelers are on their heels as well, which makes no sense, even though I respect the fuck out of the Steelers.
We'll get to that game. Hey, Chris, I want to say, though, you're talking about Bobby Babich, hell of a name. One of the most interesting matchups to me in the Bills-Chiefs game, like everyone's talking about Mahomes, Allen, obviously two premier quarterbacks, but like think about the interior of the Chiefs' offensive line: Creed Humphreys, Tooney, and what's his name, Trey Smith, and then you got the three big boys for the Bills who played really well, guys that I love: Ed Oliver, Jordan Phillips, Daquan Jones. Jones is, I think, a really underrated nose guard, man. He had a hit on Patrick Mahomes in the first quarter, I think, right as Pat was getting rid of that ball that led to that pick.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that was like, dude, that Bills defense has always been solid, and I think those three, and then Russo too on that front seven, are really fucking good. Like they're gonna really help them down the stretch.
Here's the thing I worry about a little bit.
Interior D line.
Here's the thing I worry about a little bit, Bo. If Pacheco comes back, they're a little bit more able to take what the Bills give them. The Bills
Yeah.
invite you to drive. They invite you to take long drives, and they want to make you make a mistake, which Mahomes doesn't do a lot. And, I think if Pacheco gets back, they're more on schedule. But I do think the Bills, you could say the same for when Kincaid gets back. You think the middle of the field is tough to defend now?
Right.
Like, come on. And so same thing with Coleman. All these matchups get kicked down the line a guy. And all of a sudden, Amari Cooper's on who knows. And Coleman's on who knows. And, so you got to pick your poison. To wrap this thing up on this game, the Bills have the Niners, the Rams, the Patriots twice, the Jets, and the December 15th showdown in Detroit, which is going to be a great game. Great game.
A great game.
Great game. And I think Detroit is going to have a hard time defending them too. Now, can the Bills stop the run? That's the big question. The Steelers have the entire AFC North, which they ran through last year, the Eagles and the Chiefs remaining. I think on paper they got the toughest road. The Chiefs have the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chargers, which is going to be a great game, the Browns, the Texans, the Steelers, and the Broncos. Your Broncos last game of the season. So this is going to be a fun race.
Let's you want to talk about those Steelers now?
Let's talk about the
Little
Steelers.
in-division tilt, Steelers-Ravens.
Yeah.
Did you want to reward our most random player first?
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Hit
So
me.
last week we asked for Chiefs or Bills. BetMGM had Roscoe Parrish. I'll just breeze through some of these.
We don't like Miami players.
Stevie Breston, Mark Kelso, Herman Hurd, Rokevius Watkins, Curly Culp, Barry Richardson, Langston Walker.
I like Curly Culp a lot.
Let's go with that.
But Hall of Fame? Barry Richardson. Okay, I kind of like Barry Richardson. It's Barry Richardson. Me and Barry Richardson used to go at it in practice. Well, he's my boy and everything, but he was in St. Louis for a little bit. Clemson guy, huge dude, long arms, big punch,
Oh yeah, same age as you.
solid player, same
Same
class or
yeah.
so. So congratulations to whoever said Barry Richardson. I love Barry Richardson. Where's he now? Barry, where are you, dude? What are you up to, bro?
Join the chat.
Join the chat. He's in maybe
Get in the chat.
South Carolina, Mount Pleasant. Okay. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. You know they say you're not a Raven until you beat the Steelers. And so are these guys collecting paychecks? Can they technically collect paychecks as Ravens? Because, a lot of guys on this team have not beaten the Steelers. And it's kind of curious when you look at it over the years because the post-Roethlisberger Steelers is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. They should take the logo off the helmet.
Yeah.
You have to, earn it.
You got to earn it.
Just have a purple or black helmet.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, bro.
That's great.
That's brilliant. You get a Buckeye. It was a commercial when I was growing up. It was a Buckeye. Okay. And we thought it'd be a shootout. We're dumb. Okay. It's
Yeah, I feel like these games are always 19-17, 18-16, 27. It's unbelievable. It's always the same score. I feel like the last 10 matchups have had the same exact outcome.
I'm just so glad I stared at
crazy,
the
but-
total and didn't do anything because these teams went 8 of 27 on third down. And Baltimore fans can certainly say, well, we weren't ready to play. And you weren't. But are y'all ever ready to play? Honestly, I'm about to rant for a second. This group leads the league in penalties. They have how many?
108.
108. Okay, they're on pace to break the 2011 record set by the Raiders now, albeit an extra game. But you don't want to be in that conversation. They had a 12 men on the field after the Wilson turnover, which was incredible. So you get a turn. The Steelers get a turnover. All right, let's get our shit together and let's have 12 men on the field. Multiple special teams penalties, and a little hope for y'all Ravens. We looked this up. The teams, anybody have a guess that doesn't know already? Who are the teams that went to the Super Bowl that are the most penalized in the past 10, 15 years?
Giants.
I remember this because I've heard it before, but once we looked it up, it made a lot of sense.
Is it the Giants?
No, it's not.
Eagles.
No, it's not.
Oh. The past
dare
how many
you.
years?
How dare you?
Falcons. Falcons.
You said the past how many years?
Patriots?
10, 15 years. They played the Patriots
Falcons.
in the Super Bowl. No, it's not the
Falcons.
Falcons.
Seahawks.
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 Seahawks were worse in the league in penalties the 2 years that they played in the Super Bowl, which makes a lot of sense. Here's the difference, though. That defense is just otherworldly. And, they kind of thrived in chaos. And, Russ, like Lamar, scrambled a lot, so he'd bail out of the pocket. You get some holds and that sort of thing. So, some stylistic stuff. But, there's your hope. And as up and down as Lamar was, this is my biggest problem. You know, you give him all the weapons, great. He plays like an MVP. You know, we talk about there's so many Lamar haters. He's not I can't believe some people still talk like he's not a quarterback. He chokes. And listen, the playoff thing has to get better. But I'll tell you, at the end of this game, he was doing Lamar things. Down 8. Mm-hmm. He's scrambling around, and you're terrified if you're a Steelers fan. Mm-hmm. If they didn't have the 2-point conversion with that thing and they were up 6 or they were up 5, like, I'm nervous. I'm betting the Ravens. And it played out that way because he finished the drive. But guess what happened on the drive? 3 different people let him down.
Bro,
okay?
Zay Flowers
let him down.
He's doing that shit that Tyreek does now.
Okay.
Having one again, just having one bad drop a game, and you're the main guy. Catch the ball.
But it's not just 2. I think he had 2 pretty bad ones.
Off the face mask.
It's not just him though. Do you remember the other mistakes? He throws a circus ball to Aguilar, who comes down with it. Macari's downfield, and then the last play of the damn day for them, essentially, is the 2-point conversion. You need to have your best plays. When I heard Bill Belichick talk about this, it makes a lot of sense, but it's at Inside the NFL, he's talking off camera about, like, I don't understand with some team we were talking about, they just bad plays at the end of the game. When the game's ending, you know you got to have your best 5 plays, your best 7 plays. You save them, you hold them. If you're in a ball game, and, you know, at the end of the game, you got to have your best. That was not their best play on the goal line. It wasn't their best play by design. It wasn't their best play with who was aligned and asked to block Nate Herbig.
Was Derrick Henry even in?
No, Derrick Henry's not in the game.
Like,
and then
what is that?
And on top of it, Likely and Aguilar are arguing the whole time before the snap. Like, are y'all not on the same page? So, like,
there was something going on there pre-snap, and then they had so much penetration off the edge. I think they were supposed to be aligned separately, differently.
I think they were supposed to
supposed to be in other exactly. Mm-hmm. So then Likely would have had a better angle on that. Essentially, just like a down block. You know what I mean, on the edge player.
Well, it's also more realistic to have the big guy block down on Herbig, and I'm Nelly's a vet, dude. He's a Super Bowl champion. Like, I'm pretty sure he knows what's going on, and like Likely's like, hey, get off me, man. I know what I'm doing. But Likely's in the huddle asking Lamar what's going on right before they break the huddle, like even after. So they're never on the same page. They're always, and they left T.J. Watt. It just played dumb. They let T.J. Watt unblocked multiple times, and then one time they're like, let's block him with Pat Ricard. They got bailed out on a Queen DPI or a hold. So Baltimore fans can say, hey, we weren't ready to play this time, but what else is new? And then Baltimore fans can say, if we don't miss 2 kicks, but you can't say Pittsburgh didn't earn those turnovers. Okay, that's the thing about Pittsburgh. The biggest improvement, hidden improvement on this team from last year to this year is what? We talked about it. It's the linebackers. Okay, I know Queen hasn't been a world beater there, but he has been a big improvement in range, and the same thing with this Peyton Wilson guy from NC State who can flat run. And Patrick Queen pulling the ball out before the half, you need those 3 points. The Wilson pick was one of the best plays I've seen all year. And then
that was a play of the game. I think that was the most important play of the game.
It was
pick.
Huge.
Like, he was beat. Ended up taking that thing away. I don't know how. Like, how do you even know that the ball is there in your
Dallas Goedert lookalike?
He does look like Dallas Goedert, bro. And here's the other thing. Herbig bookending the game with 2 huge plays. And you know, like I said this last night, Herbig comes in there and punches the ball out. You know who that reminds me of? His dad, TJ Watt. You know what I'm saying? Like, TJ Watt is the guy that, like, I said this last night. You hang out around your dad enough, you kind of become your dad. Howie. You know, like you're different, but you pick up a lot of the same damn, you know, mannerisms and things you do. And I think, like, being around TJ Watt for these other backers, like, they play like him, you know, in their own way. And Highsmith, he brings that edge to he's the thermostat, not the thermometer. We always talk about that. He sets the temperature in the room. And so, like, even when he's not making the play, that's him rubbing off on Herbig. And so they have a culture. And the linebackers are better now. You know, can you imagine? You said the most important play of the game. I thought the most important play of the game, the hidden play, was Roquan getting hurt. Because the minute he was hurt, they were hitting Washington in the middle of the field, and they were going right at those guys, the backup, Simpson, and the other guy. What's the other guy's name?
Malik Harrison.
And, you know, to get that last field goal, that was directly a result of Roquan Smith being out of the game. and that was the difference in the game. So, can you imagine if the Steelers were an average team in the red zone? An average team in the red zone, and you were on this. We talked about this. They need to watch some damn Taysom Hill film.
You see,
because
Hey, they had some packages for Justin Fields. I think he had 2 carries.
I know he botched the last one, which drove me crazy for him because you're like you
they got to trust you. They got to trust you if you're going to go in there for a couple of plays
and you slide short of the sticks. You know,
Yeah.
But I still want to see him in the red zone because I don't think damn Russell Wilson can see in the red zone. It's not like you got any shorter, but you know, like that is
He does dance around in the pocket and he does that little back shoulder spin out, but then he was doing it like twice. I was like, dude, like he's like spinning in place, like not really going anywhere. I feel like there were a couple times I was like, God damn, Russ doesn't. The level of mobility has fallen off for him so much. It's crazy.
well when you like, and he's still used to the muscle memory of, and you know, it's hard to break as an older player. Like I got old in the NFL, and I sometimes think I could do the same things I did when I was young, and I end up looking stupid. And you're like, well, I can't take that move anymore. And you know, I'm sure it's the same for quarterbacks. But I just thought that Washington heave, you know, it was bad, but I think Washington's got to go up and get that ball.
Yeah.
You know, he's 6'9", bro. You're a power
He's
forward
huge.
for a reason, bro. Like go up and
He's
get the
massive.
ball. But I think if we could see a little more Justin Fields in the red zone, like maybe just take the red zone snaps. Like because right now it's not working.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna bite him in the ass at some point. It's a
What
miracle.
were they 0 for 4 in the red zone?
Dude, they were like 0 for 4, and then they're like 0 for 4 against the Giants or whatever they are. Like just
I feel like there's been 2 games this year that they've won solely off of Chris Boswell kicks.
There are
Like
who deserves
2?
praise.
Literally 2?
literally 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won week 1
Yeah.
against the Falcons.
But they're
Right.
used to
Yeah.
doing that. It's just now you should be better because the offense as a whole has been better than anything in the post Roethlisberger era. And then you know you stall in the red zone. Just the delta between their performance between the 20s and you know inside the 20s is crazy.
In this game, I have my game ball because we're talking about it. Is going to Danny Smith. The special teams for the Steelers, it's a legit edge for them.
Right.
Like in this season where we see so many kickers missing kicks getting blocked, and it seems like small things, but that's coaching error. A lot of that stuff is maybe coaching errors or coaching adjustments that you can help fix. And yeah, kickers got to kick, but coaches know like when their guy is maybe off or whatever it may be, and you have someone like Boswell, the special teams won this game. They won this game for that team, and it's something where that like when you're coming down to the end of the season, this is going to be a big part. Like if guys are going to be able to make his kicks or not, it's not automatic anymore.
Is there a special teams coach in the league that's more famous right now for sideline shots than Danny Smith?
Can't be. Can't be.
Just ripping that
Oh,
gum,
yeah.
8 pieces of gum in.
That's a
Just-
good one.
Oh, dude, who do you
Yeah, I
think?
talked to Scotty Miller a couple weeks ago. He said he loves that guy.
I bet he does, dude. But who do you think murders more gum, him or Carroll? Who do you think has murdered more gum?
And that's the worst gum to murder.
I gotta go
That-
with Carroll for that one.
That
Yeah.
double bum,
Double bubble?
wait, double bubble,
Double bum?
Bump.
double
That's a
bubble.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson double bump.
The double bubble. You get maximum 37 chews out of that piece of gum.
Do you think Mike's gonna come out with a strain that's like cheeked up or something? Like, do you think that was because you do everything intentionally?
Yeah.
Like, why do you're the marketing guy? Why he knew that he showed us his ass cheeks on purpose.
I don't know.
And he wasn't even intending on winning the fight. It's the
I don't
craziest
know.
thing.
Everything
when I
w-
first saw the ass cheeks, I was like, oh, maybe we got a problem, Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Because this guy's like showing us how crazy.
ass
Oh, I thought the opposite. As soon as I seen that, I was like, oh, this is a sham.
Okay.
A sham.
I'll say that. Okay.
All right, while we're doing our moments real quick.
Yeah.
I know, Nate, you had a game ball for the special teams coach for the Steelers. I mentioned briefly my Hollow Man, Justin Tucker. He missed those 2 pivotal kicks. 6 points would have been huge for the Ravens. Also like to just not capitalize off of the turnover early, and then it's just so demoralizing, especially when you have one of the best kickers in the NFL. Justin Tucker was historically the most accurate kicker in the NFL, and he is no longer. Cowboy, who is that again? Eddie Pinheiro?
Eddie
Something like
Pinheiro now
Oh wow.
by
Yeah.
0.2
Yeah, so-
percentage points, I think.
Shout out to Eddie.
Shout out to Eddie.
Yeah, like I know Justin Tucker wants those back. He wants that stat. Like that's a huge.
Well, one thing he mentioned after the game, he didn't mention this, and so like I want to tread carefully because the way it's being framed is like Tucker's complaining about the field conditions. They asked him about the field conditions. He said it's definitely a thing. They played a game here yesterday, but it's something we make a big deal about. And so like Chris Boswell's used to it too. And here's maybe what I want to. I want to give Chris Boswell, after we dumped on all these kickers, I want to give him the "You're Not a Kicker" award. He's a football player. I've also seen him get blasted on the sideline running fakes before, and like he just pops up. Okay, but he has to kick the ball in more inclement weather, in thick grass, and like fucked up sod situations, and you never hear his name other than like Boswell automatic.
And he's all outdoors, right?
Yeah,
all AFC North. You know, he's playing X amount of games a year.
A football player.
Yeah,
in worse weather.
And to kind of keep kicking Justin Tucker's back in, he's my worst flight because of what we were just talking about. And also, we've seen how Lamar acts after a win on a flight. Right. I can't imagine how being on a flight as a kicker, missing 2 kicks in a game you lose by, 2 points, just feeling that the whole flight home.
And I totally get it if they're upset with Tucker, but Tucker's made a lot of big kicks over his career. I think like most people, it's the dog thing. It's like, is this guy, we need to take that long ride?
Damn.
You know what I mean? No, because with a kicker, there's just very little nuance.
Yeah.
You know, like with other
Where's
players,
the kicker farm? You got to take him to the kicker farm.
I don't know. Yeah, like we're taking you to the farm. You can sing opera all day. They got fucking.
That would be a funny like
McPherson's
insurance
there.
commercial or something. Just have a whole bunch of old kickers that like had like a little. Everyone knew them for a little bit, and just
That'd
like
be funny.
This is where kickers go. This is where we go when we're done.
It's like the Kreisman House. I have this idea for a commercial that I think would be incredible called the Kreisman House, and it's
all the people who didn't get the Heisman.
Well, what was it? I can't even remember.
Everyone that won the Heisman and just had no NFL career.
Kind of. I think it was like that. It was like just they're just upset.
This could be lost in the Norwoods.
Yeah, lost in the Norwoods. The Norwoods. It's just like people in a cabin. Anyways, here's the big deal with the Ravens. Don't they get the Chargers next? Greg Roman knows if Roquan Smith's hammy's not right, you got to be concerned about this defense now. Okay, like because that's one of the biggest reasons that they're not where they were last year. It's not just the back end. It's also losing Queen and having to rely on certain guys at the second level of defense. And like if Roquan's not playing, that's bad, especially against a team like that. My last question is, what is the worst record that a team can have and still have the MVP? We kind of touched on it with Joe Burrow. They're not a bad team. They're a good team. They'll make the playoffs. And then from there, who knows? But like, are we kind of getting into territory if you win the wild card, if you win a wild card berth, can you be an MVP? Has that happened a lot? I don't pay attention to the MVP like that. Like
I don't think it has happened very much, but I think it could.
It could.
10 wins and you're dominant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, the year that the Giants won the Super Bowl was Eli the MVP?
I don't think so.
No, because they had like only like.
See, this is how bad I am with MVPs. I don't even know if Eli ever won one. I don't think he ever won one. Has Josh won an MVP?
Not yet, although he is currently plus 150 and the favorite for the first time this season.
And you'll never hear me argue about the value of that guy, as you know. So, what's next? Blowouts? Blowouts.
And
Lions, Jags.
I'll give Motor City first.
Worst flight, Jaguars. Also, Shad Khan is he's not a morning person, huh? Because Doug, there's
Coach
no
Peterson
news.
had a press conference this morning.
Oh,
No way.
Yeah, they trotted him out there for the Monday morning.
Dude, I
presser.
kind of feel like this is one of those situations like with Mike McCarthy where they're like, I'm so mad at my coach, you got to coach this team. You got to coach the greatest Jags team ever assembled for a few more weeks. Listen, Doug's obviously going to get axed at some point. And
is it obvious?
Just lost 52-6, and there was like rumblings of like.
645
But my
yards
thing
of
is,
total
if
offense.
that is so obvious now, like why isn't it done? Like why isn't
That's
it
because
done?
maybe
That's
Shad
what we're
Khan
saying.
slept in. It's what time is it? 3:44 p.m.
So it's gonna be shocking that at the end of the season, if Shad's like, you know what, I don't want to fire my coach right now.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
That would
That's
be
shocking.
the
If
most
they don't fire him, I'd be
something's up thing of all time. That would be the most Doug has naked pictures of Shad Khan thing of all time.
No kidding.
Now, and I love Doug, but like this is what happens when you lose like this. You don't keep your gig. So
I mean, and they have a bye week, right? So you got to think he's going to be gone early. Like,
Yeah.
maybe they're just trying to.
Maybe they're just giving him a
figure
couple
out
days.
administratively. Like, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
Listen,
And I love Doug too.
I wonder if he's giving these guys Haagen-Dazs anymore.
Maybe that.
Can you imagine going to Detroit with the record they have, like walking in the Lions Den, literally, like, you know, at the Detroit Marriott last night? And he's like, "Everybody get some Haagen-Dazs." Everybody's like, "No, I'm going to bed. I'm depressed. This is the worst
Taking
thing
the
ever."
Haagen-Dazs, man.
All you
You need
gotta
whatever
do-
you can get.
All you gotta do
You
is
need
put
any
some-
sort of small cheer in a locker room like that.
No, honestly, sometimes it's better to be in a locker room where the bottom falls out. It's better to be in a locker room on a team where the bottom falls out than on a team that like was close but just like can't, like the Bengals. I'd rather be on. I swear to you.
That's
Now,
such a good.
now the
That's a
Bengals.
great argument, Chris.
Yeah, I'm on to something. The Bengals. Listen, if they lose next week, they're out, right? I can't say for sure I'd rather be on the Bengals or on the Jags than the Bengals, but if they lose next week, I'd rather be on the Jags than Bengals because
Yeah.
you're just so far from the Bengals locker room is like you walk around wanting to punch things, and like the Jags locker room's like, who's the boss now? It's everybody's just an independent contractor. You're out there playing as hard as you can, trying to debut, show your stuff for the next coach or free agency, and like it's ugly and it's not fun. I've been there a bunch of times in my career, but there's ways that you can kind of get through it. And like in a Bengals situation, it's
You know what you can do right now?
what?
You can plan your trip to Mykonos.
Mykonos.
And I already looked. Jaguars, your last game is January 5th. That means a flight to Mykonos the 6th to maybe the 13th for a nice week there is going to run you about $1,700. That means if you get it now, it won't be $2,300 or higher when the season ends. So that's something that you can look into right now.
Is that your best flight, Dr. Fax?
Jags
Maybe.
to Mykonos.
It's like
to
visit
Mykonos.
Greece to have you on the payroll.
Yeah, you know, like
VisitGreece.com.
like Belichick
This
is
is
like an
very
ambassador for Croatia. Are you like a Greek ambassador?
Mykonos it just looks like a cool place. I've never
Greek
been. The Greek freak.
Lovely.
That's my spirit animal.
Yeah.
I like
He's cool.
He is. He's funny.
No, but and I just like Mykonos.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do for a week? Just hang out in all the white buildings? Like I don't know much else about what's going on in Mykonos.
Get on the
Club
water,
night,
like me.
club nights.
Yeah, bro. You get on the
Oh,
water.
there's
You
some nice
see some
clubs in
yachts.
Mykonos.
Yeah,
Scorpios.
exactly. See, Bo knows what's up.
Is that like a Molly capital of the world?
I've been to Mykonos.
Oh,
You probably could find some.
you been to Mykonos?
Look at that. See,
I wore a lot of white linens. Where do you think I get all my little neck scarves that I wear around?
From Mykonos? You get them directly shipped in from Mykonos?
I got a guy. I got a neck scarf guy.
I thought you were getting them from like Anthropology.
Oh, no. I'm
Oh.
that green.
Oh, no.
Okay. No, so here's the deal, man. We're going to listen.
Can I ask a question real
Sure.
fast? Is there any NFL head coach that you think is having more fun than Dan Campbell right now? This was him this morning. He picked up his massive coffee from Starbucks. Look at that smile.
He's so happy, dude. He's just so happy. Like
He should be.
he's happy
They just
losing.
won 52-6.
But he's happy winning a game where they throw 5 picks. He's happy winning 52-6. Like, and there were moments in this game where I was like, "Damn, they're definitely rubbing the Jags' nose in it."
yeah,
But it's not personal. They just hate everyone,
yeah.
and that's the cool thing about the Lions. It's very Detroit.
That should be a fucking tag.
It's not personal. We just hate everyone.
Yep.
Fucking sick.
Put it on a Lions t-shirt.
But you know
Somebody
what?
there's the thing on the internet now is like you'll see a t-shirt and everybody will be like, "Here's where you can buy the t-shirt," and it's all like them trying to make money. That's what's going to happen to us. But that'd be a great t-shirt.
The other coach I think that is feeling that way is probably Tomlin. Just like every year, everyone talk about his team and what you're not gonna do, and it's just like
I'm
we
paid
say that.
very. What do you say? I'm paid very well or
Yep.
very handsomely.
Yep, and he's never had a losing season, and it's just like he's back at it. And like after the game, he had did something where he like beat it on his chest and like he was barking at the crowd, and I was like, I know he wakes up every day feeling like, yeah, like they write me off every year, and all I do is win.
Dude, Tomlin has been proved right. Dan Campbell's been taking victory laps since he took the job. They're culture guys. I said this on the last week's preview show.
Mm-hmm.
You remember there was this whole – well, remember, you don't have to remember that long. But there was this whole, like, let's hire the shortest, youngest-looking guy who spent time with the Shanahan. You know, and then it was a McVay. And it's all offense. And
LaFleur.
Who's a great coach. And McVay's a great coach. They're
coach.
both top 5, 7 coaches. I don't know. I haven't ranked them.
But they're all clones from the same family tree.
No question.
So it's refreshing to get Dan Campbell, who is just fucking ripping coffee. You know, he goes through probably 2 or 3 tins a day, just yelling at everybody at all times. Heart rate 143.
Heart rate's got to be through the roof. We sent him Copenhagen one time. He was so happy. And so, like, here's the deal. Look around the league at the division leaders, and as of last week late, there's 8 divisions. 7 of them are occupied by, leaders or teams coached by, defensive or culture guys. Defensive coaches or culture guys. I can never remember a time in recent memory where, you could think about it. That's why we talked about Deion coming to the NFL. I'm not going to, on its head, be like, yeah, Deion can't coach in the NFL, like, because he hasn't been one of these whiz play callers or whatever. Like, at this point, culture wins, dude. Culture wins. Defensive. Jim Harbaugh is a culture guy. Sean McDermott's a defensive guy. Go around the league. Nick Sirianni, who is, by the way, that Pat McAfee segment where the guy was imitating Nick and Nick's in the 2 box. I don't know if anybody saw it. It was gold. That guy needs an Emmy. I don't know his name. He needs an Emmy.
Ty Schmidt.
Ty Schmidt needs an Emmy. Great job, buddy. And Sirianni just didn't know what to do. He was like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. But Nick Sirianni is another guy who he takes a lot of shit, but he's got one of the best winning percentages in the damn league. And half the people don't like his quarterback. So tell me why. And you could say it's all Howie Roseman. But all I'm saying is there's a lot of guys right now coaching football teams who aren't these boy wonders. And Dan Campbell's Article 1, dude, when he got hired and he said he's biting a kneecap, I'm so glad we're past that whole like, oh, these meatheads, stupid coach. Like, that was the whole thing. I'm like, bro, like, give him a chance. What? Because he says he's gonna.
He is a culture guy, but he's got one of those young little whizzes with him.
He does have
that's
one of those
actually
guys.
my game ball is going to go to Ben Johnson, Lions offensive coordinator, who will be a head coach
in Chicago.
It feels like immediately, 645 yards of total offense. Also, anytime that you rest your all your great players in the NFL in week 11, that's fucking amazing.
And they could have done it earlier. Let me just say,
they might lose both.
Dude, it didn't even seem close.
They might lose both.
They're gonna, dude.
Because Aaron Glenn
is a beast too.
Yeah,
I think they've had multiple picks, and
they've improved.
Good, bad problem to have, right?
No question. And then we find out, how Dan and Brad Holmes make it work on the hire. Like, you talk about the other team in the division. The 2 offensive coordinators have been fired this year have been Bears hires. It's the guy in Vegas, Getsy, who was there last year. It's their hire. And then this year they fire Waldron. And they took a good hard look at, like, the list is all successful coordinators. I know Lions fans want us to talk about the game. It's hard for me to talk about a 52-6 game. You guys are awesome. Lions are great. I think this is so crazy because, like, I can never remember a time where not never, but a team like the Lions were so heavily favored to win the Super Bowl. Like right now, they're the odds-on favorite in Vegas
for the first time.
It's hard to wrap your head around it, but it makes so much sense. They're the best team, top to bottom.
I think it's the only time in our whole life they've ever been the favorites.
When I say a team like them too, I also mean, like, who would have guessed this 2 years ago? Most times that somebody's a clear favorite in the Super Bowl odds, like, that's a program that's been building a while. They have some quarterback, and Detroit has a quarterback. But the point is like, when they picked him up a couple years back, nobody was like, oh, this is the start of something, Mm-hmm. And when Dan Campbell got hired, nobody said this is the start of something. And when they started winning, nobody was like, hey, they're going to win the Super Bowl in a couple years. They got a shot to do that. So good for them. My question off this game was going to be, what's the worst ass kicking y'all ever got in a football game? Can you remember the score? Can you remember how it felt?
Wait, did we? We lost bad to Mark Sanchez and USC here.
Oh, that was awful. I came back for that game. I was standing on the sideline with Troy Polamalu, nicest guy in the world, and I was watching that big ass safety just obliterate all y'all.
Oh my God, who was it? No, who was that guy?
The huge safety.
Oh, he was
played
just
for the Bengals.
He was
The
just
kid from USC,
yes, he was just yapping the
Taylor
entire-
Mays.
Taylor Mays. And
That guy's a freak.
Mark
Great
Sanchez juked me with a big ass Don Joy knee brace.
No.
Felt so
In the
felt
red
so-
zone?
No, not in the red
I
zone.
kind of remember somebody doing something bad in the red zone.
Oh man,
Wasn't you? Glad.
No.
But it wasn't even close. I remember that game. I'll tell you what, my second year, you can look this up. I think it was 2009. I think it was 47-7. We got beat by the Jets with Brett Favre. Brett Favre Jets. I was over there at right end. Thanks a lot, DC. And just doing cardio on DeBergashaw Ferguson, who has like erector set arms, dude. And Brett Favre is just like he's vintage Brett Favre that day. 47-7. I think.
And then the how bad did we lose?
47-3. I give us too much credit.
How bad did we lose to Wyoming? Did we get boat raced?
No, it was like 20
it
to
was close.
3.
Okay.
But that game felt terrible.
It
'cause
felt
we were
bad.
at like
There was no air.
8,000 feet. There was no air. At least there's air in Detroit.
As a fan, just to gas you guys up, you were on the field for the Miami game, 48-0.
Oh yeah,
And that popped into my head.
Orange Bowl.
Okay, Orange Bowl. Last game at the Orange Bowl. Miami's
sent the
pretty.
Rock
Miami's pretty
packing.
good. Yeah,
Yep.
Miami's pretty good that year. The Rock does the coin toss. I'm standing up there like doing the coin toss, looking over at the Rock. I'm like, "What's up, Rock?" And I'm like, "Man, this place is ready to erupt. If we fuck up and we just kick their ass, it was like 48-0.
beat the brakes off of them.
Now the other one for me was, it was the Ravens. I think it was Torrey Smith's coming out party in 2011. I don't remember what the score of that game was. Look that one up for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was me and the blind side. I was working the blind side all game.
Yeah.
The guy in the movie. I was working the guy in the movie. 37-7. That wasn't that bad.
I got one that was bad. This is somewhat topical. Thursday, November 26th, Thanksgiving. Eagles played at Detroit. Got the brakes blown off of us, 45-14.
Ooh,
Remember that?
Brutal game
on Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
And then we got the weekend off because it was a Thursday game. My family was all in Minnesota. I decided to stay in Detroit because I have a really good family friend. One of my really good buddies lives there.
Sure you do.
They were all Lions fans. I was miserable after the game. Went over to their families Thanksgiving, got absolutely drunk as shit off there. His 14-year-old cousin wouldn't stop talking to me about how
I thought you were saying the
Lions
14-year-old
were.
cousin was feeding you alcohol or something.
No,
I was feeding myself.
Well, that's what you
Mark,
get
I was
because remember you
not
had
happy,
me.
dude.
Remember you had me at that New Year's Eve night where you took me to basically an underage bar. You know this story?
Yes, I love this story. I
New
love
Year's
it.
Eve, like he brings me and my wife and my mom to like this
So
bar,
great.
and it's like
18
all
and up.
Literal like
girls.
underager bar.
He lied to
Yeah.
me. He's like, "Oh, it's gonna be chill."
Yeah.
he did it just to get me in
It was
the
not
door.
chill at all.
It was not
Yo,
chill.
before we move on, and I forget, bro, you have to check out Chef Geach. He's like a Lions super fan, and he's a rapper, and he does like a NFL week wrap up.
Yeah.
Every week where he's rapping it, like doing a freestyle, and it's always so great. And like,
It's like
he obviously
Skills. Remember that Skills guy?
Skills
wrap
via.
up.
He's from
He's
Richmond.
from Richmond.
Yeah. The wrap up is great. But they do it for. He does it for football and like emphasizes on the Lions, like when they're doing good or bad.
Yeah.
And I think that takes like immense talent.
I just realized. we
Imagine
still
rapping
have
this
the
show.
No, I know it'd be crazy. I mean, I could do it.
I think you can.
So,
Next blowout.
Oh, I was gonna say you could just superimpose spots on this, and then it would be a Jaguar, not a Bengal.
that's true. We could.
Got you, bro.
Now, last thing I want to say about the Jaguars, this is from Mike Florio. So not to say like he knows exactly what's happening, but I don't think he's going to go out on a limb unless there's real noise about this. But like last night, he said there's rumblings in Jacksonville about keeping Trent Baalke. Boy, you had me in the first half. The second part of the statement was because Baalke and Belichick worked together in New York with the Jets, and like maybe they're trying to lure Belichick down to Jacksonville, which honestly,
Sorry, Mac.
we went through the best openings that we anticipate happening next year, and like that was towards the top. You know, it's kind of because there's Dallas and New Orleans and what have you. So and fuck, Canales might not last the year. You know, David Tepper's horny. He hadn't fired anybody in like 300 days. So, so the other blowout. This is a good blowout.
It was a great blowout.
This was
Mile high.
This was free money.
And
3 more wins. 3 more
But I'm talking
wins.
about yesterday.
Yeah.
Was free money, bro. Free. Money doesn't get freer than the money coming in on the damn Broncos.
I made up my mind. If you will allow me to, I'm tailing all your bets for the rest of the year.
Can you tell the people what I am the last 3 weeks?
yeah, I don't know.
13 and 2.
I don't know.
13 and 2. I know.
Yeah.
35 and 20
Yeah.
on the year. 13 and 2.
Yeah.
In real life, and listen, when I'm bad, I'm bad, and I've been bad some years. But this year, BetMGM is going to cut me off. I think they're going to cut me off. All right, Broncos. Worst flight is going. No, not worst flight. Anti-Bevel Conway. The anti-Bevel. That was ugly as hell. Can you imagine if the Broncos wore Orange Crush and the Falcons were in the Jeff Georges? Like that's.
It would have been the best
But instead,
all year.
the
got
newfangled
this.
bullshit
Yeah.
we have in the NFL now, like those are hideous uniforms. Let's start talking about this. A lot of times in the NFL, you draft a rookie who's old, and Bo Nix looks 31. Okay, and he's been in college a long time. And I can remember when he was at Auburn, and then he's at Oregon, and you're like, damn, that feels like a long time ago. And so when you draft an older player, a lot of times you think that player's closer to his ceiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get a polished player, but you're not sure that player's going to develop. But who's to say Sean Payton, one of the greatest offensive coaches of all time,
He's going to shine that puppy up.
is not going to be able to get this guy going? And like the improvement he showed, that throw to Vele over the middle of the field, I was
Between
watching all
three
three
defenders.
That was the loudest noise I made all morning. Was watching that throw.
Nice.
You can
Ridiculous.
you can teach an old dog new tricks.
You can teach an old dog new tricks. And so I just think like from a macro standpoint, like who would have thought that the Broncos would be looking up week 11, not only like successful on the field, but also like maybe we have a franchise quarterback. And nobody would have thought that in the first couple games of the season. We were calling him check down merchant. We were saying,
I mean, they played well against the Bucks, Chris.
I did.
They came to Tampa and they played the Bucks really well, and they looked like that, dude. They were efficient. They were moving they had like multiple 10 to 12 play drives in this game against the Falcons. Falcons defense, I don't really think much of it. You've been saying this for months. They need a pass rusher badly, but like the Bucks have beaten the Lions. Like they're a decent team. They've hung in there with a lot of really good teams. The Broncos might be onto something here, Cowboy. I hope you're a little torqued on this.
Oh,
should
I'm
be.
torqued
Yes.
as shit.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
fully torqued.
Just about.
It's so easy, and I think a lot of the reason we've kind of been looking at the Broncos like this is a fun story is because you weren't sure about the quarterback, and nobody's sure about a quarterback year one. Okay, like I've been pretty sure about Jaden. I'm pretty sure that all these quarterbacks are going to have nice careers. I don't know if they're all going to be like long time for, but like this is a good draft class. Okay, the defense on this team, the front.
Yeah.
Bro, DJ Jones, fucking Cooper setting the edge like right off the bat, bro. Like everybody knows Zach Allen by now if you watch ball. Benito, they're just physical. They're well coached. They rush together. They play the run. They're all interested. They're all glass eaters. When I watched that Jets game earlier this season, I was like, God, I hope this is real. And God's team proved to me that they are real. And we asked earlier what if if this defense should have a nickname. And who's
Tanner?
Tanner? What was the nickname? Because we call the Broncos God's team. I don't know
God's
what
team.
is that a South Park thing?
No, that's just
you.
Yeah.
Reed thing.
It's their defense is God's D.
God's D.
God's D.
God's D.
I mean,
wow.
wow. Now nobody outside this podcast is going to get that, but that's funny as hell to me.
But guess what?
What?
If you want to maybe hit BetMGM for a little bit more money, offensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Rookie.
I mean, offensive rookie of the
No,
year.
player of the year. Let him say it. Let him say it. Talk it, Fax.
MVP.
Let's hear you, baby.
MVP.
Plus 500 value
Yeah.
bet. And I mean, he's in
Definitely
second
value
place,
bet.
and Jaden Daniels is minus 750.
'Cause
Big gap. But if Jaden Daniels hurt, he sits a few more games, and Bo Nix
If
stays
Jaden
the course.
Daniels' ribs are fucked up and he keeps looking just decent like he's looked the last couple weeks, then all of a sudden this race is wide open because they're not going to give it to Caleb.
No. Absolutely.
And
not.
Bo Nix, we started the year being like, wow, look how well set up the Commanders are, or the Commanders. I don't think we were thinking about the fact that the Broncos could really have a franchise quarterback.
Oh, I was.
They're pretty well set up.
That's why I made that bet.
Good on you. You were on it. You were on that, and then you were also on the Dallas Cowboys thing, which I need to remind you, I'm sorry about
I don't
that.
want to
I'll
keep
send you a
talking
check
about
in the
it.
mail. But we were all stoned on the back porch of our Buffalo Airbnb. Shout out to Airbnb. And it's 1 a.m. I'm like, let's just look at some bets. And Nate start rattling off all his long odd bets, and we're like, shut up, dude. And then he gets to the Broncos, and he gets to the Cowboys, and he's like, yo. He's like, this bet is going to hit. He goes, what are the chances the Cowboys lose all their games at home? And we were like, bro, not happening. Like, I don't care how. It's just not happening. The odds were what?
Like plus 300,000.
And what were you going to bet?
I was like, for real, I don't know why I just didn't put like $1 or $10 on it.
Bro,
like,
you could
just cause.
Bro, I'm so sorry. Now, not to say you got to listen to everything we say, but like we were like, no chance. And they still might not win a game at home. But I'll just say this about the damn Falcons, because I've taken a little shit from Falcons fans on this show. I took shit for you guys last year about Desmond Ridder because I said Desmond Ridder wasn't the guy. You guys gave me shit. This year, you gave me shit because I picked the Bucs to win the division, and they still could, which is a damn shame for y'all because they lost, most of their offense when the receivers
They should still win the division.
Look at their record down the stretch and look what the fumbling ass Falcons have been doing. And listen, my job is to tell the truth. I don't have a damn bias. I got nothing against Kirk. I love Kirk. I got nothing against Raheem Morris. I love Raheem Morris. I love a lot of the players on that team. I hate that you guys have to deal with some of the things you've had to deal with. I mean, I've apologized about 28-3 like 100 times. I felt bad for you. And I owe you like my entire life. Okay? But this team is not that good. They're not that good. And if you can't touch the quarterback, and that's what we said coming to this game, Bo Nix is not going to get touched. The only guy who sacked him was Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey's back. Okay? And Falcons pass rush, they're following COVID protocol. It's 2024. They don't even get close. Seriously. It's not great. And you can't win like that. You can't win like that. And so I worry about this team down the stretch. Yes, they could win the division. Yes, they get in the playoffs. But what are the chances the Falcons win a Super Bowl?
Nothing. They're not winning the Super Bowl.
So it's good you pick Mike Penix because I think at some point, and he got some throws yesterday, at some point you're going to turn the page on this, and maybe next year Kirk plays and he plays well and you add some defensive pieces. Listen, you lost your draft pick, right? And then you go out and get Matt Judon, who I told you, like, the Patriots won that damn trade, okay? It's just if you can't rush the passer, and I'm not boiling it all down to that, but that would make a big difference. It really would.
Right now, the Falcons are 6-5. The Bucs behind them at 4-6. Bucs had a bye week, but they play the Giants in Week 12, Carolina Week 13, and the Raiders in Week 14. Atlanta has a bye week, and then they play the Chargers and the Vikings.
And listen, I'm trying to stay out of the chat. And what's up, Luis Enrique? Thanks for the comment again. I remember you from last week. Verse would have done more for this team. Sure, Verse would have done more for this team, but I still don't think you're there. So I do like grabbing a quarterback that could be the guy in 5 years whenever you can.
He stepped in at the end of this. He had a couple balls.
I like Michael Penix.
Had a couple great throws.
If this starts getting shaky, do you think Raheem's job is
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
Okay.
He's got a little bit of time.
Okay.
He's got 2 years.
No, listen, and I hope y'all turn it around, but the window is not open right now.
Okay.
And so that's what's weird about the Kirk thing is like you got this aging quarterback, and I guess you got to sell tickets, and you got to be competitive. But like teams are playing the game, right? This team, had they not drafted Penix, say you get a fucking stud in the first round, and who's to say it would have been Verse? That's assuming you got the right thought in your head, which we know when we talk about quarterbacks, people don't even know half the time. Okay. But the point is, you could add 2 good defensive linemen to this team. I don't think it makes a big difference. I just don't think they're that competitive. So this race is going to be interesting. Let me ask you this question, Bo, and I think I know the answer. If you're hosting a wild card game and it's the Falcons or the Bucks coming in town, who scares you more?
Bucks.
The Bucks with Mike Evans, a little bit healthier. I would agree with you.
I think Mike will be back by then.
I think so too.
Hopefully.
Look at the Falcons' wins, okay? And I hate doing this because it's hard to win the NFL, but like it feels like eons ago they beat the Eagles
By a point.
by a point, and the Eagles were terrible
In a game that
in that game
They shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have
No.
won. Whatever.
Yeah, no, if Saquon catches the ball, all that shit, but all that considered, I just don't think any of their wins are like high quality wins, including the Bucks wins, because I don't think the Bucks are that good right now. Like, you know what I mean? They might win the division, but so I look at they lost the Steelers 18-10, they beat the Eagles, they lost the Chiefs, they beat the Saints. They've been running roughshod through the NFC South, okay, but they got boat raced by the Seahawks, and now they got boat raced by the damn Broncos. Those are two totally different built teams from other divisions, and it just you don't look competitive.
And they lost to the Saints the week before the Broncos with Rizzy.
So, anyways, I do not hate the Falcons at all. I'm just trying to tell you all the truth.
This is what I think the problem with the Falcons is, dude. They got behind against the Broncos. They're not built at all to come from behind. If they can get their run game rolling early and get up, then they'll be in decent shape.
Yep.
But like they're just not at all. What was that? 21-3 at halftime.
It's hard to get off
Broncos?
the
Like,
field when you
that's-
can't rush the passer.
that's- Right.
Hard to get off
I
the field.
think
when
that
you
was the
can't
biggest issue in this game. And then the Broncos were very efficient offensively. They were good. And then I was reading some of the headlines, and Raheem Morris was even talking about that run play where the entire Broncos offense, it felt like came and
Picked
just
up Javante.
rugby scrummed them. Yeah, exactly.
Just
Into
stick
the end zone. It's like they just had way more juice. Man.
That was that way.
Like, Mile High Stadium was kind of popping.
I forgot about that. I kind of want to make that the Bevel Conway, where they,
I mean,
like literally,
yeah.
guys' little feet are like
off the
off the ground, and they're just taking your soul.
That's what he said. He was off the ground. Quinn Miners, Ben Powers were pushing that pile.
Awesome.
He said my feet came off the ground and I was still moving. I said it must be Quinn. It was a collective effort. I felt like everybody played well on both sides of the ball.
You think this during the back
special teams too,
back half of the season, having to play in Denver and playing there, that air, you think that's
Oh, for sure.
something?
When it gets dry there,
Yeah.
I remember when Logan Ryan picked off a ball when I played for the Pats, ran it like 90 yards. And you know me, I'm going to let the DBs do the whole celebrate
Yeah.
the end zone thing.
Gotta get
But
your
I
breath
still
back.
ran a while. And I got to tell you, we had to go right back out for that's the most gassed I've ever been in my life from a wind standpoint. Like when it gets cold and dry up there. So, and I think they play the brand of football where it works.
Yep.
So, I mean, like, they really have it down. They really have it down.
3 more wins, baby.
And how about people laughing at Sean Payton? And how about people laughing at Russell Wilson? Here's the thing about the NFL. Fits matter. Context matters. We say it all the time. Both those guys are thriving now. Last year,
Yep,
just
they
didn't
both
work
ended
for
up
them.
great. They
both remarried, and it's good.
Look at
dude.
that. It works out
co-parent.
sometimes. There it is.
You know?
Beautiful.
All right, so
Let's NFC West. Got a couple big games. The Seahawks 49ers, a great battle. The 49ers still having woes in the red zone.
Make room. Make room.
Dude, the NFC West is just a fucking mess.
they're not going
Crap
to
shoot.
they're not going to be
All up.
cooked. It's a lot like the year where we slid in. I referenced where Charlie Whitehurst beat us. That was a 7-win team got in the playoffs. I think that year. I think it was 7-9 Seahawks. That's what it's the same thing in the NFC West this week or this year. If the Cardinals don't pull away with it, it's going to be like anything will do.
49ers without Bosa cooked.
So that's what I noticed at the end of the game, right?
Yep.
I asked this question earlier. I said, do the Niners scare you when Bosa's dinged and he's on the sideline? Not at all.
No.
You know, it looked like guys are running in place. The team speed is just not the same as it was in the past. Like when they had Greenlaw and they had Wagner back there and Floyd's a good rusher and everything. Like when they were 4 deep up front because they've lost some tackles and the whole thing. But like, I just felt like, and hats off to Gino, his old ass making it work.
His seventh game-winning drive since 2023.
That guy's got like some hero tendencies. You know what I mean? He really does. For a guy that like they wrote off for a long time, famously, but like he really does in some clutch moments. And then sometimes he'll look like, just what are we doing? But yesterday was one of those moments at the end of the game, and I want to shout out. I'm going to give out 2 STL memorials today. Special occasion. One, I'm giving it to
Oluwatimi,
who was at Virginia and transferred to Michigan. I forgot it was him.
Multi-year starter in Charlottesville, and then went to Michigan.
And just left us in the dust. But now on the heels of a weird retirement from Connor Williams, I hope he's okay. Seriously, I mean, because when a guy retires in the middle of the season, like something's going on. But yeah, Olu played really well. Perfect pass rush win rate. And then they get Abe Lucas back, who played pretty well. They rotated him in. Good matchup on Bosa in general because he's pretty damn – he's a stout guy. Like, he's a true right tackle. You know what I mean? But, 2:30 to go, one timeout, Geno's legs. I mean, it's just, for a team that lost 5 of 6 coming in, like, quiet as kept, like, they're over in Canada. So, like, when they're not the LOB, people don't pay attention. And, speaking of not paying attention, I feel bad for all the teams that played during the Mahomes-Allen game because, like, they might as well have played in a hangar. This game, you're looking up every hour being like, oh, Seahawks are in it. And just real scrappy for them to get to 5-5. They get a huge matchup with Arizona at home. They get Arizona twice in 3 weeks. They could flip the whole thing. Not saying they will, but if you're the Seahawks and you're Mike McDonald, you're going to be like, dude, look what we can do the next 3 weeks of the season. We could flip the whole division on its head. And so you got at New York, you got Green Bay, you got Minnesota, you got Chicago, you got the Rams. The question is, do I get my win total? I have the over 7.5. What do you think? They're at what, 5 now? So they got to beat
3 more wins.
They got to beat Danny DeVito.
3 more wins for you too. So we're both sitting at the same thing.
They got to beat Chicago, and they got to split with Arizona at the because if you don't split with Arizona, you might be in trouble. So
I think it's gonna be really close, man.
It's gonna be one of those.
Also, I'd like to interrupt real quick. I want to give out my worst flight award. My sister Grace was in town in Tampa this weekend for my birthday, and I was a little distracted because she is about to catch her flight back home to Minnesota, and that is the worst flight for me. Grace Allen leaving Tampa Bay to go back down to Minnesota.
That's brutal.
Have a good flight, Grace.
This time of year, shout out to Grace.
Grace, have a great flight. We love you.
Who was the whole reason? Oh, she's leaving. That's her.
She's leaving right now. Yeah.
Hey, Grace, thanks for making me go to that underage bar back in the day.
Hey, Grace, you there? He says thanks for making him go to that underage bar for New Year's Eve.
You got a sweet family, dude. Just good people. Just good people, the Allens. Okay, so here we go. The last one in the NFC West, the Rams' gutsy win. I mean, as gutsy as beating the Patriots can be. I mean, there were moments in this game, Matt, right, where it was like a little close. We put Matt on this game. What'd you think?
I think if you're a Patriots fan, you should be happy. Drake May looks really good. He just doesn't have the weapons around him. He's been able to move the ball. The problem for the Pats was they just had to settle for field goals, so they couldn't keep up. They just need to keep adding pieces. In terms of the Rams, like we were just talking about the NFC West, we didn't really mention the Rams. They could win it. They're 5-5, and they have Puka back. They have Kupp back. And yesterday, in the second and third quarter, they exploded for 28 points. Their passing attack is dangerous, and your boy Braden Fisk made the play of the game.
How about that? I did see him get some buckets, and good for him because he made some plays a couple weeks ago, and they were like, it's only the whoever they were playing. I think it was maybe Seahawks or something. I don't know, but that guy has really stood out, and we talk a lot about Verse, but for a D tackle to have as many buckets as he's had and be in there, I know, Bo, you gotta love it. You gotta love it, Bo.
Yeah, white D tackle. I mean, dude, he's actually super athletic. I remember watching his his college tape out of FSU. He's actually a really good locker room guy. Also, really knows the playbook. A little stiff in the hips, but he's actually really athletic.
Dude,
he had a really good performance. And then also on the other side of the ball, real quick, Patriots fans got to be happy about getting Christian Barmore back.
That's huge.
He had a little bit of a health scare. I don't want to get the specifics of it. I think it was blood clots or something like that. But it's first game back, and
that sounds right.
He's a dynamic rusher out of Bama, younger player. I think third or fourth year. So happy to see him back up there in New England.
And I'm also happy. I'll say it every week. I'm happy for Gerard Mayo because his team looks like they haven't quit. They're far from that. They've got a franchise quarterback, hopefully. And he called him soft. He wanted to put his foot in his mouth over that thing, but he ends up being able to come out of that thing and the team's better. And so, like, sometimes it's sloppy. Sometimes you don't say the right things, and, you know, you got to have hard conversations. But good for the Patriots for just showing fight. I mean, they continue to fight. They're going to have a chance to hit their win total, which to me, I hate to oversimplify things, but when you're talking about, like, I've heard some fans of the Patriots be like, oh, Mayo's terrible, we got to run him out of the building. I'm like, all right, well, that's starting to sound a little, anyways. You're getting to the point now where it's like you were expected to win 4.5 games. You're 3-8. The team showed promise at different times, and the quarterback, most importantly, you went to the quarterback, and people like me doubted that decision because I thought he'd get killed, and he almost got killed the first day. I'll never forget, 16 seconds he's on the ground out of the half against the Texans. Danielle Hunter almost killed him.
Who would have?
You know, once he almost got killed, I think he was okay, and he has not gotten killed since.
Who would have thunk it?
What?
Drake May has the same amount of wins as Aaron Rodgers this year.
Wild.
Who would have thunk it?
Wild.
Nuts.
Wild. Okay. All right. So that's the NFC West for you. I just want to echo what Matt said. Like, when you look at the offenses in the NFC West, you know, Arizona is there like a sports car for sure. But the Rams have got a little of that sports car to them as well with those guys outside. I mean, like,
I love Puka. Chris, that touchdown catch, like, remember when we interviewed him for the Super Bowl last year? Just how, like, charismatic and cool. He's like one of those young guys. Listen, I'm an old head hater. Like, this is about to be some hate. But those young players, sometimes you're in the locker room with them and you look at him, you're like, God damn.
There's a cloud outside you could yell at.
Like some of the young players are brutal. I remember when we interviewed him, I was like, this guy is so cool, such a good pro for a young player, like smart, great vibes. He had that fucking great touchdown catch where he laid out for it. Like, he's been banged up this year. He left for a little bit, came back. Like, I want to give him some love because, like, dude, I love that guy. He's a great player. I think he plays the game the right way. He had 123 yards, touchdown. Like, I think he's a fucking
I feel like
boss.
He's what happens if Danny Amendola was 6 foot, whatever. Like,
yeah.
And that's a huge compliment because I think Danny's one of the toughest players I ever play with. Danny dislocated, I don't even know how you do this, but his sternum in like a meaningless Rams game. And they said it was only like a car accident injury usually. And I'll never forget him like wanting to fight the trainers because they wouldn't let him go back in the game. It was insane. And you know who honestly reminds me of Amendola a little bit? I said this is Shakir.
Yeah.
Shakir reminds me, like real talk, reminds me of Dola a little bit. All right, so the Rams, you got to watch out for them. The Hawks, look out for the Hawks. Hawk Tua.
Hawk Tua.
All right, so how's that podcast going?
Talk Tua.
It's popular.
She revealed her boyfriend recently. It's pretty exciting stuff.
That was Pookie.
New boyfriend job for Hot.
Yeah.
She a little dating app Pookie. Like, talk about marketing facts. Like, that chick's kind of all over him, man.
I'm not immune to the trappings of pop culture. I mean, I see things from time to time.
The best thing about the whole situation is that, like, she wasn't even the one getting interviewed, and and she just took it to a whole new level. Shout out to her.
Shout out to her, bro.
Talk
Yeah.
Tua.
Yeah, how about that night? She could have easily been like, yeah, I'm not interested in doing this interview. Her whole life's changed.
Would have changed. Yep.
That's unbelievable. Now, I'm not saying her life wasn't good before,
Right.
but maybe it's better. Okay?
God bless her.
Some people who might have better lives, who might have had better lives in week one than week now, or vice versa, a little unproven quarterback roundup, starting with Sam Darnold. You know, there are 3 quarterbacks we're going to hit on that their quarterback play. We want to dive in.
Well, Nolan, what'd you think? Because you took the closest look at this game.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, there were multiple wow plays in the tape, a couple of 3rd and 6s early on where he got out of the pocket, hit some throws on the run. But yeah, I thought for him, you know, coming off the last 2 weeks, throwing 5 picks, you wanted to see him kind of settle back in, especially against a good defense too. And the play extension stuff, late in the down, second reaction stuff, on the run. You can win a playoff game with how well he played yesterday. And if he can stay at that consistent level, they're going to need him to do that with the wild card seeding. Like we talked about the Falcons, everybody wants to play them in round 1. So you get the 5 seed, you know, depending upon how the rest of the season goes. You know, he really played well. He looked confident. And the accuracy from multiple platforms.
I liked what you said earlier where you were like, there were moments where you said, I can win with this guy. And then there were moments in the game where you said, I can win because of this guy.
Yep.
And that's the whole, like, that to me is the conversation we should always have about quarterbacks is like, yeah, can you win with him? Great. But, like, when you got a guy you can just win with, you're going to have games where, you know, the bottom falls out. But if you got a guy that can show you from time to time that he can kind of put the team on his back. I'm not saying that's what he did yesterday,
100%.
but where you make throws that are like, that's a plus throw, not just to taking what the defense gives you or not doing what the coach should do. That's what you want to see from him.
Yep.
You know, and you want to see him avoid those mistakes that's kind of plagued him lately, but he got away with earlier in the season. So good win from
I'd like to interrupt you guys real quick. You know, we're doing the mentions throughout the course of the show. Absolutely love this header right here for Minnesota and Tennessee. That's actually my drip king of the week. Tim Matt.
Oh, that guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Tweeted out. He was a proud Vikings fan. You know, I grew up in Minnesota. Spent a lot of time around fans exactly like this. A lot of things I love about this. Tim, the mustache, though, is
look at that
star
duster
of the show.
That's unbelievable.
Rip quick. Yeah, look at that dust. And then the angle, the don't.
Oh, the angle's perfect,
angle,
bro. He does not give a fuck.
Yeah.
I want to get to the level of not giving a fuck of that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tim Matfield, shout out. Come on the pod sometime, brother, because you're drip king of the week. Skull Vikes.
Goal.
He's got a little stain on the front of that jersey. You know, he's worn it a couple times.
He's also got like
He's
a
a
very
homie.
like he looks to be an older gentleman, maybe like 45, but like his Twitter feed is actually like pretty Gen Z.
Yeah.
Like
he's on top of it.
He's well adjusted.
He took a screenshot and posted it. It was impressive.
Dude, when my dad was 45 like this guy, he would have never been able to do that. So
I think that guy's 45.
That's a joke. Fuck, I mean,
he's 33. He just turned 33 last Thursday, I think.
Uh,
Killer mustache. I can relate.
Hey, did anybody see that Eagles? Golly, I got to send you this right now because I want to show this at some point during the show. But there's an Eagles fan who went viral this weekend. I got it on my Instagram story. I'm going to send it to you, Tanner, because I just want to see it. Don't allow full access. I don't need full access. Fuck. Where is it? Did you guys delete it? You guys deleted it from my damn story? You guys micromanaging my stories?
What are you talking about?
There was an Eagles fan that I put on my... Oh, there he is. From 9 hours ago. Okay? This is great. Okay? I'm going to send this. How do I send this? I'm going to send this to you, Reed.
Yep.
Okay? And I want to show this later in the show. This is the most... There's two superstars in Philly right now, in my opinion, from a fan standpoint. And this is a Star is Born moment. There's obviously the guy who sticks a fork in him. I think by now everybody's seen that guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to that dude.
Stick a fork in.
I like, shh. Done. Stick a fork in him. Fork in him. Done. Shh. Like
He's awesome.
And he makes it like an athletic move too. Like they're all different the way he sticks the fork in these teams. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google this guy. And then there's this guy. I don't know how quickly we can get him up on the show, but I just really wanted to feature this.
He's
guy.
about to pop up.
Since
and
we're
you're right.
talking fans.
It did go viral the other night.
Star is born. This guy is a star. Somebody said he's probably
That's just
a
your
bank
average
manager in Philly.
WIP call in. Right?
What about
This is the best thing I've ever seen. It's incredible. No, I don't want to overhype it. Okay, so the next thing we got is we're going to talk about
Caleb Williams,
and
Bears,
Anthony Richardson.
Packers.
Okay, the Bears. First thing I'll say is, as a fan, what a joy it is when everything you need to have happen for a total to hit the right way happen. Like I had the under 41, and I had Green Bay parlayed with like multiple things, money line. And so at some point, you guys all know the deal. When you're on total in a team, like it just becomes complicated. And it was. I needed multiple 2-point conversions to be missed. I needed, obviously, that field goal to be missed. And I've never been so damn excited, not all this season, to see that kick block. So just post-mortem on this thing for the Bears. Matt Eberflus, and some of these stats that I'm reading might be wrong because they look fake. 2-13 against the NFC North. Is that like a clickbait? Am I getting clickbaited? Am I getting like...
We'll double check as we watch this Eagles fan.
Is that fake news? All right, go ahead.
Shut your mouth! I can say what I want. What are you, Marcus Hayes? Sit the fuck down.
What are you, Marcus Hayes?
You should have 5 more points. Get another light. Get another light beer, asshole.
We got a tale of two fans here. I love how this guy just perfectly encapsulates Eagles fans. Then you got good old wholesome Tim Matfield, Skull Vikes. Just
Totally.
he's not up there raging like this guy. It's just perfect.
When you understand the dichotomy of those two fans, you understand what happened in the NFC Championship game.
Exactly.
And why those poor people were like, bro, we're so nice. What happened? Like, what was wrong with
Why are
those
they
people?
trying to beat us up at the link for wearing Vikings jerseys? That's so crazy. And
That guy was
like,
terrific.
guys,
Down to the accent, down to dropping Marcus Hayes' name. Like, it's just having a light
Your
beer.
asshole.
He sounds like all my dad's friends that went to Villanova. And so, listen, we're talking about the Bears, 2-13 against the NFC North. If that's real, that's abhorrent for Matt Eberflus. And 5-17 in one-score games. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just at some point here it's going to be him, right? And we talked about Ben Johnson. I know some Lions fans don't want to hear that, and I know that some people might think, why would he want to go to Chicago? I'll tell you why we want to go to Chicago, because Caleb Williams is going to be all right. He really is. I believe that. He's going to be fine. I'm not saying he's again, I told you this a long time ago, he's not what you thought he might be, and maybe he might be eventually, but he's not going to be there like that, okay? Especially not on this team. But I think he's going to be okay. And honestly, I thought Thomas Brown did a really nice job coming in cold and just taking the profit all day, right? Like from what I saw in this game, Caleb did the things you asked him to do. He created with his legs some, and honestly, didn't get killed. And that's half the battle, right? Like, get the damn ball out. Take the check down.
He got the ball out much quicker. It was 0.4 seconds faster than his season average, and he used his legs. 70 yards rushing on the day. He actually escaped the pocket and was that much more of a threat on the ground.
He can – some of the elements let's not get carried away. He's never going to be – like, Mahomes is Mahomes, okay? But the thing people saw with the Mahomes thing is, like, the off-platform stuff, the wow throws. I don't think he's a deep ball guy. And he's got a strong arm, but I don't think he's like an accurate deep ball thrower. Like, and not everybody is, and maybe he works on that. But what he does is he can throw a piss missile to the intermediate level of defense, and like he can put it right on people in the middle of the field, and he can get off platform, and you can move the pocket with him. So, and I think honestly, I'll say this every week till I'm blue in the face, so you don't mischaracterize me as some hater of the kid. The kid has played like a man, okay? And I mean this. Like, he has rolled with the punches. He's dealt with people on his team walking off the field, you know, antics, tantrums. He's dealt with fans questioning him. You know, he dealt with, he's got a purse. He cried after the game. Like, no, I haven't seen anything like what everybody insinuated, was that he's weak-minded or whatever. Like, not that having a purse makes you weak-minded. My wife's pretty fucking tough. She's got a lot of purses, all right? I'm running out of purses to buy for anniversaries and birthdays. But the point is like, Caleb Williams has conducted himself like a pro in the NFL so far and taken a lot of hits. And supposedly, Jay Glazer said he stood up in front of the team and apologized for why Shane Waldron got fired, his hand in it. Now, I don't know if that's a fake tweet. Again, I might be getting Aaron Rodgers here on the Jared Goff stat. But, like, you never know now. But I saw that in passing, and I was like, damn, you know what? This guy is the furthest thing from what people said he was. And I also think he's going to be fine. And so we just got to be patient. Bears fans got to be patient. You've been patient a long time. What's another year going to do?
All this hype on him.
Got a couple mentions. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cowboy.
Well, no. Go.
He loves the mentions.
Hey, I know my fucking role. I'm just pushing mentions, boys.
mention
Come on, I got
pusher.
good ones. But what I mean, you were talking about Caleb Williams there a lot, Chris. I think I saw someone in the chat say like this loss wasn't on Eberflus. The end of the game, and you mentioned this earlier. I didn't see what McAfee said about it, but the fact that kick got blocked. For everyone that doesn't know, the farther you are away, you know, kicking a field goal, it's going to have the ball coming off a kicker's leg is going to have a lower trajectory. I want to know. I want to be a fly on the wall as a specialist. Because, you know, they just chit-chat about fucking punting and kicking all day. But you had one timeout. I think there's 20 seconds or something like that left in the game. You could have run just a dive solid, a duo play. Tell your running back to cover up that ball with both arms, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why didn't they run one more play, try to get 3-4 more yards closer, maybe that ball game goes completely differently. So that's one thing.
That field goal, real
That's
fast.
wild to me.
That field goal was 46
ahead.
yards that was blocked. Santos is 71 of 71 inside 40 yards with the Bears.
And so it just lends to the fact that maybe this team is cursed a little bit, the franchise a little bit,
Seriously,
a little bit
think
cursed.
about the losses, the Commanders, and then the division
New-
rival Packers.
New ways to lose
Doing
every
everything
week.
right.
Mhm.
Chicago Sports.
Seriously, it's
Chicago
crazy.
Sports is
Did-
is a Twitter handle, and they put a mashup of Trestman in 2013 after he settled for a 47-yard field goal on second down in overtime. Obviously, they missed. In the post-game presser talking about this very thing. And then 2019, Matt Nagy, same thing. And then 2024, Eberflus. It's like time is a flat circle in Chicago. And the only thing that's different is, I promise you, you have a young quarterback. I'm not saying he's played great, but he ain't one of these guys you had in the past. And I was a Fields fan, and I still think there's room for Fields to improve, and maybe it's in Pittsburgh. But the point is, this was never going to be easy. And if you thought it was going to be easy, you were doing the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight's going to be awesome. Like you're just easy to dupe. And so and I'm not. And I thought this would be a process, and it is. And that's okay. But you got to make the change at some point, because Matt, as good as he's been defensively as a coach, like your job is to coach the entire team, and they have to do a better job with the next hire. And so you have to go out and get an offensive head coach. You knew you had to do it. And that's another thing. People wanted Harbaugh. Who knows if you'd have hired the right coordinator?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe Harbaugh would have brought Greg Roman to town and, the run game and the whole thing. But, like, I think maybe waiting a year for Ben Johnson might be even better.
Mm-hmm. Bo, did you?
He's going to
It's
directly
also
impact that quarterback.
my best flight. Everybody, big mention guy today is Packers short flight on a last minute blocked field goal for a win. Come on, against a division opponent that you hate.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
a
you've
great flight.
Just
Great
about
flight.
owned.
And a short flight.
And for real,
Short flight.
Just up
Short
and
flights
down.
are the best ones.
Up and down. But
Believe-
Same
you
time
spend,
zone.
You
you're-
spend most
yeah.
of the flight in danger because, the dangerous things happen on takeoff and landing. So, like, short flights kind of suck, but they're also great.
But look, depending on the coach you have and how good that team is, you might get to see you Wednesday, and they might get to stay in Chicago since it's so close.
Yeah, you're right.
And
So
go
you-
party there.
See you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. Yeah.
Last unproven quarterback we want to hit. Anthony Richardson. What'd you see?
I want to give him the game ball.
Huh.
Let's
You
go.
want-
Yeah.
Hey,
Love that.
was so when I turned on the tape this morning because that game got lost in the shuffle, I was so happy for this kid. I mean, and for the people who say you never should have benched him. Really? Because he looks a lot better now, doesn't he?
Well rested.
Well, not just well rested.
Yeah.
Hey, I can tell my kids
Took a couple plays off there.
I can tell my kids till I'm blue in the face, hey, stop doing that or I'll take the iPad away. But unless you take the iPad away, they're going to act the same.
Yep.
They're going to do the same shit. You got to take the iPad away.
Gotta
And that's
do it.
why I'll take some shit away. And that's what happens. You can tell a player, oh, you got to stop making this mistake. You got to stop. But until you really make them feel the repercussions of, and supposedly, who said this? It wasn't just about football. What did you say, Matt?
There was some reporting that there was concerns about Anthony Richardson's level of preparation.
Okay, so that's one thing. It's like, hey, sit your ass down and learn to prepare. I think a lot of his mechanics, and I still think it could be, but also like maybe they fixed something over 2 weeks. And maybe the fact they played so shitty, this is my conspiracy theory, is they spent so much damn time trying to fix Anthony that they weren't paying attention to the game plan or something. Because I got to tell you, this dude, if he was a rookie and you looked at this game, you'd be like, man, he might be the guy. Like, now, they set the table for him. They started the game with QB run. They ran the ball a bunch early. But some of the throws that this guy made, like with people in his face, the quick release, 22 years old, May 22nd is his birthday, okay? He doesn't turn 23 until May 22nd. You got the whole thing ahead of you. And if it was enough to sit him down for 2 weeks, great. Okay, I was really happy to see him play well. There's so many plays. A.D. Mitchell's a hell of a young player, but like they were getting after Sauce on the crossers. You give him the ball with 2 minutes to go in the game, with the game on the line, and he made quick work of these guys. I mean, that 3rd and 4 with the game on the line, going, no, sorry, not 3rd and 4. jumping around here. But the ball to Mo Alley Cox on the boot was like a wow. I mean, there were a few throws. To get a touchdown on a slant, nothing spectacular. Like, it was actually an angle route more. He, it was downs. He pressed that defender. But like, my point is, those are the easy things I wanted to see him do. I saw him hit a speed out. I almost jumped out of my chair. I was like, oh my God, it's a new guy. So I'm really excited about this dude. The throw to Pierce, like a lot of guys are missing that layup.
And it looks
we see
so
great
easy
quarterbacks
for him.
So easy. So, the one to Pittman early in the game, I wish I had all 22 if the NFL wasn't on my ass about that thing. Mm-hmm. I would show you the ball that went behind 44's ear to Pittman early in the game. It's like it's a missile. You can hear it. Okay, the crosser to Mitchell. He's got the left tackle in his lap. Everything he did yesterday turned to gold. He really had one.
Well,
of those
the thing
days.
I like, Chris,
20 for 30.
He came out, and I feel like. Sorry to interrupt you there. 20 for 30 also. Game ball for him from you. But like what I respect is I was very critical of him earlier. And basically a lot of that was due to the fact of like him subbing himself out for that. I really don't like that. I think a lot of his teammates were vocal about that in the media. I remember seeing a couple of his O-linemen talk about it. Once your O-linemen start saying things like that about the quarterback, it's not a good sign. But I feel like Anthony Richardson came out. He was physical, man. He made that completed pass on third down. Defender was like tackling him as he was going down. It looked like fucking Ben Roethlisberger. He trucked the dude on the goal line. Like I feel like he was trying to make a statement, play super hard, and like almost win over his own team, which I respect. Like he came out after sitting down, basically losing his starting job as a quarterback to a 40-year-old Joe Flacco, and came out and played his ass off and beat a very shitty New York Jets team.
Well, they are shitty, and
you,
certainly that factors in, but the rush was getting there. Like he was under siege at different times, and you made the point, like when he ran over a dude early in the game to get in the end zone, or he scampered in and like the whole team mugged him, like you can tell. And so that's why the truth is always somewhere in between. You hear guys are like, no, they're not that upset about it, like they're just like, what the fuck. And then if you sit for a couple weeks, they're like, they want to win ball games, and I had somebody in here talking about, oh, listen, they started him only because Flacco sucked, not the. Well, two things can be true at once, bro. Like, why does he look like a totally different player? Like sometimes, and I said this on Inside the NFL, was like, when I was a second-year player, Spags was my D coordinator. And as a D lineman, you can rotate. But I was a high pick, and I wasn't playing great. And I was, transitioning from 3-4 to 4-3 and kind of like swimming a little bit, like trying to figure out how to do my job. And Spags came up to me. He's like, listen, you're not going to start for us. We're starting like Victor Adianju or something. And I took it personal. And I don't know that I worked any harder, but I think it gave me some space to where it's like, from a mentality standpoint, you have hit rock bottom. For some people, rock bottom is like, rock bottom in real life is, it's a totally different thing. But rock bottom for a football player is like the feeling I had when I got benched. And honestly, I don't know that I knew what I needed at the time, but I needed a little bit of, when you're a high pick, and I can't imagine what it's like to be a quarterback, the whole organization wants you to save them. And, like you're trying to do too much all the damn time. You're just trying to be like, you're trying to live up to the expectation immediately. And I think sometimes when you can just sit down and get some space and say, okay, the pressure's not on me for 2 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever, like you can kind of reset. And I think that's what, I don't want to say that that's what happened for sure. We'll see next week. But I saw a different Anthony Richardson. If you've watched him play this year, tell me another game he played that well. If you haven't, just don't say anything. But if you've watched Anthony Richardson, there was something different about him, and I hope it holds. I really do. I hope it, because it worked for me getting fucking benched the next 4 years. I was making money balling. This kid hopefully can turn around his whole. It's a young career, dude. He's a rookie essentially. Give him a chance. I like the benching. I like the way he played even better.
You could tell how locked in he was on that final drive when it cut to him on the TV. He was ready to go, and he was 9 of 12 with 2 touchdowns. 9 of 12 on attempts of 10 or more air yards for a career high 185, including 2 of 2 for 56 yards on the game-winning drive.
No question.
And shout out to him The only leg on my patent bet that I had this week was him 2 anytime touchdowns, rushing
that's
touchdowns. And he single-handedly got me in the money because his particular leg was like plus 1,600.
Plus 1,600?
Yeah.
Score 2 TDs.
To score 2 TDs.
No way.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me about that one? I might have taken that one. Golly, dude.
I think what Nate's not telling you is he probably missed a bunch of 2 TD bets. That was just one of them.
No, like in the patent, I picked 3, and it was like $22, but I still made 3x my bet, like on him just scoring those 2 touchdowns on just one leg.
Can I say one more thing about this game before we move on?
Do it.
Quiddy Pay. Great game.
Ooh.
Latu. Great game. Like, hey,
Game ender.
early sack too, where they both had great rushes where Latu hooks. I mean, great technique. Hooking that he does things with technique, and he hasn't had like a splashy year, but that's fine. He's going to develop really nicely as a pro. He's a great chop club guy, really good with his hands. Hooked under Fashanu's arm, and just got it. Like just got the corner, and the same thing with Pay with power now. And to end the game, like you said, 3-man rush. That feels better than anything, dude.
Right.
Like 3-man rush, walk off. And the last thing I'll say is that was the funniest play I saw all Sunday. Rodgers throwing the ball backwards on that first. And it's not just because it's Rodgers. It's like, haha, we're all just like constantly piling on Rodgers. But that shit looks so bad, dude. I don't care who did it. If that was like Will Levis, we'd be doing memes about
exactly.
it.
Football guys don't like Aaron Rodgers this year.
They don't. The gods have
Everything going bad. The
gods
way it's
have-
supposed to.
rebuked him.
Rebuke. We rebuke you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been rebuked.
That's hilarious.
I don't even know what that word really means. I know people do it to the devil.
Yeah. And there you go.
Okay. Oh.
Flyover games.
Your take a couple weeks ago were you just on a run about the Jets? That's just Hall of Fame stuff.
Bro, like, it's true, and it's just
You
like,
POS?
it's just
Calling him a
bad.
POS.
Because he
calling
is,
people
bro. He is. Any quarterback that does that to one of your guys in the locker room, you're a POS. Like this, plain and simple. I don't like that. Don't call me out. Like you don't have to call me out.
Got him going again.
Right.
I love
Man,
it.
but it's just funny watching them lose and just like the Jets just look silly, and that whole thing's getting blown up at the end of the year. Like, is he going to be back there?
Dude, I told you, I said this last week. If I was a coach and they were like, we want you to coach the Jets, $100 million, I'd be like, is that guy gone? And that's not to say he hadn't had like the most incredible career ever, dude. Like he was amazing. I've had so much fun watching him play. But sometimes it just doesn't make sense to like hang on as an organization and say like, oh yeah, we're going to try this one more time. Like, no, you draft a quarterback and you go on. And he plays in San Francisco or something when they don't pay Purdy. I'm just joking.
But it's just gonna be funny just to see.
I would pay Purdy. I like Purdy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think Purdy's a dog. Okay,
You
But
know
I'm
what's
just trying to
Aaron
think.
Rodgers,
Here's the
Miami
better
next
question.
season.
Where does he
Where
go?
Miami? In Miami?
Miami.
Oh,
But Tua man's playing pretty well. That's the next thing I want to say.
He is.
We're talking about flyover games.
I love that graphic. That's good stuff, boys. Good shit.
Shout
Good
out Tanner.
production. Hey, come on.
Hey,
Big
Love that.
Tanner.
we love that. But I didn't really fly over the Dolphins game because I had the under, and curiously, it went way over, dude. that game was a dead under, and then like the Dolphins are in 4-minute mode, and they are bullies, dude. When they play
Fins
a
are
bad
back.
team, they score 35. But bro, they took a shot because damn Raiders dropped the coverage. I'm like, what are we doing? But the point I wanted to make was my STL Memorial goes to Tua Tagovailoa.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was – who is that guy off the spot?
Hey.
You Tua fans can't – I'm going to call it like I see it when I see it. That man was playing well yesterday.
Hey, you know what they say?
And you know what? He's moving. The last couple weeks, he's moving a lot in the pocket and out of the pocket.
Don't want to make light of head situations, but you know, you watch movies and stuff, and sometimes someone has a head injury, and then you start gaining things
Power?
in life, like not
Are you trying to
powers,
rookie of the year?
not
Are you
not
rookie of the
not powers, but maybe some bad habits or old habits that you couldn't find
This
a
is
way to
like
get
Like
out
an
of.
ayahuasca trip he went on.
Rookie of the year?
Hey, it might have been.
Did you just try to rookie? That's good.
Hey, made a knock. You know when people say knock some sense into somebody, he might have got some sense knocked into him.
I don't want to say that.
Hey,
You hear Matt?
hey, the Finns are back though. We're back.
I don't know about all that.
All right, I'm
They
gonna move
beat the
on from that
Raiders.
take, Nate.
That was a
I'm gonna
ball
get my
game until the
STL
fourth quarter. That was a ball game until
I'm
the
gonna
fourth
get my
quarter.
STL memorial out for this game too, Chris. Good call with 2. I'm gonna go with the other team. Brock Bowers having an unbelievable rookie year. He had 13 receptions, 126 yards, really nice touchdown. I think he has just surpassed Puka for the most receptions for a rookie player, like through 11 weeks. So,
He's a
Grab
dog.
fucking
The new
baller.
Jeremy Shockey.
He might be the St. Louis Memorial Award winner for the entire year because like people forgot the Raiders were playing. It's like such a shame. And you know what else is, bro? Who said Breitbart star?
That's
for
so
Aaron
funny. I
Rodgers.
saw that in the chat too.
Was that born in this chat?
I hope so.
Breitbart star is the funniest thing I've ever heard, dude. It's up there.
Yeah,
You guys are funny, dude. If y'all thought of that, man, we got some funny ass fans.
My bevel is going to this game.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Hey,
The Raiders,
yeah, it's great. Raiders always
Dolphins, and then I want to put this out there too. Thank you, God. Shador Sanders, he tweets this after every Raiders loss.
That's the thing I wanted to talk about.
How great is that?
Bro, is that really on point like every
Yes.
time?
Yes.
So, you know, that's what we're talking about when I think Dion wants to come to Vegas.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So-
Because you know why too? Because I think Tom Brady had trained him at one point.
Well, that's a big deal. Like, Tom's in
Yeah.
the building. You can walk upstairs and be like, hey, Tom, what am I doing wrong? Like,
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine that? Having a quarterback coach fly on the wall next year, the quarterback coach in Vegas, when, like, the quarterback's just going to walk upstairs and be like, he's telling me this bullshit. What should I do, Tom? You know, that's a man, talk about getting big boy in your own building. But that's how it goes when Tom Brady comes. I mean, you saw when he walked in, they had everybody in the organization, like the stadium crew was standing in that atrium. What was I going to say about this damn game? You said the Dolphins are back. They're in it.
Yep.
So the Bengals are cooked. The Dolphins are in it.
The Dolphins are not cooked, but yeah.
I said that the Dolphins,
We can't
they have
cook
their
it. We
nose.
can't cook a
Look,
dolphin. This
look.
isn't
They have
Japan,
their
dude.
nose and their flipper like sticking out.
Mahi,
They're sticking
Mahi
out.
at the
Yeah.
Dolphin.
They're sticking out.
Some
Since
people with
Tua's been
uneasy
back.
laughter, like it's my fault that they're eating dolphins. You know what I mean?
Oh, by the way,
They do, don't they?
yeah. And by the way, guys,
I would not eat flipper,
I can't hold it in.
but dolphins are bad.
I can't hold
What?
it in. I have some bear meat on the way for us guys to try.
I know what bear meat tastes like.
We're gonna have some
It's
bear
very
meat.
oily.
Is it really? I've never had.
Pause,
I think I
Nate.
like
I
it.
put
It's
a I put a
little
call
Pause.
in.
Nate, you want to eat bear meat? Pause.
Bear meat. Yeah.
Oh, pause. Big pause.
I guess.
You trying to a hawk two of that thing? I'm like, hey, bear mace, hawk two of that thing. But no, honestly, it's late in the show. That's why we're talking like this. I don't know that the Dolphins are in it. Who do they have the rest of the season?
They're
Can we
not
just
in
look
it.
at that real quick?
They
I'll be
absolutely
if-
are still in
if
it.
they
Thank you.
play like
Thank
this.
you.
No, my point to you was they can't not be in it, and the Bengals you're in it, and the Bengals aren't in it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm
Feels a
saying
little
this
selective
because
on the cooking.
I'm saying this because you're always giving hope to the Bengals.
I know, but they both have hope. That's
yeah,
the point.
they
They
do.
both do have.
No, they-
Schedule. The Dolphins are in it.
They both have
See,
hope.
see, look,
Okay,
everyone's
look at
looking
the
at
schedule.
look.
That's
look
why
at
we're pulling the schedule up.
No, I just think Nate, your inconsistent takes are weak as hell. That's my thought.
What's
So,
what,
wow, that's
what do you
Takes are cooked.
We're cutting to
Bro,
the point.
like
We're cutting to the point.
literally everything changes week to week. They're not inconsistent. Everything changes. Tua's back now.
All right,
Things
so they
changed.
got New England, Green Bay, the Jets, the Texans, Niners, the Browns.
Okay, I
and the
got
Jets.
all
Yeah.
winnable.
Okay, here's what I no. Well, you could say any game's winnable, but I think most likely they beat the brakes off the Pats. I think they lose in Green Bay.
Okay.
I think they have trouble with the Jets, but you never know. Houston's a tough one. You even talk about going down to Houston with that rush.
There's a problem, Houston.
San Francisco's a tough one. Cleveland's a tough one with the front and that sort of thing. I mean, like they're all tough. Is my point. Now the thing they have going for them is that pass defense has been pretty good. Like, I think Weaver's doing a really good job down there. So I think overall, like, if Tua plays the way he played yesterday and honestly the way he played last week, because I thought like that's enough. Okay, then they're going to be able to hang with teams. And to your point, they could be in it at the end of the season. And
if the pass protection plays as well, Tua was pressured on a season low 16.2% of his dropbacks.
Well, you take care of Max Crosby.
Yeah,
you just try to make sure you throw everybody at Max Crosby. But what does the math say, Matt Nagy?
According to The Athletic, the Dolphins are given a 28% chance to make the playoffs, which is primarily a function of them having one game more to play than the Bengals.
Right. So that's interesting. So that my interest is peaked. Okay, and
they'll need the Broncos.
Zoom in a little bit, enhance.
I can't on the screen.
No, you can. You just did. All right, now go to the right. Okay, perfect. Okay, so go to the left a little bit. Okay, perfect. Broncos 43%, Rams 32%, Colts 29%, Dolphins 28%, Niners 23%. Bro, and this is what I want to say about the Niners. When Nick was off the field, when Kittle's out of the game, what it tells you is like this group is not like the window is not as open as it once was. It just doesn't feel like when you lose one player in your defense, you shouldn't look that much different. When you lose one player in your offense, I know they've got a couple guys, Brandon Ayuk and that sort of thing, and they've spent a lot of season without Christian McCaffrey, but that still doesn't explain a lot of the problems they've had at times. Like, can't all be just guys missing. They don't look the same. Bengals, 22%.
Yeah, I know you guys were referencing a 10% stat earlier. This one is more advanced.
Oh, so I got a 22. I think the Bengals are 22% uncooked. You asked me earlier. The Bucs are 19%. Damn, dude. Oh, wait, the Seahawks are down where? How can you say that? 11%.
Based on projections of strength of team and strength of schedule going.
I don't believe in Gino.
Tiebreakers.
It's not who you play; it's when you play them.
Yeah,
that's one of the it's one of the old adages. Okay, what's next? The New Orleans thing that the thing that nobody saw.
Yes, the Browns and Saints thing.
Taysom
graphic might be the only redeeming thing about this game.
Did anybody see the game?
No.
Seen the
so
replay?
We as the podcast protested this game. We were all over Rizzy last week. We were like, yeah, congrats. I'm seeing his friends down on the like Saturday night in Baton Rouge. They're like, hey man, like my friend's Rizzy. And I'm like, tell him he's gonna fucking win, because they are. And then like a week later, we're just off it. And that's not to say that like we're not excited about this thing. I want to make one point here. They're in cap hell next year. Like, to me, unless you're in love with the coach in the market, if this guy reels off some wins, maybe give him an Antonio Pierce kind of thing.
And look, that's why he's my STL memorial.
Coaches aren't going to want to go there.
He's my STL memorial and best seat right now. Rizzy, they're 2-0.
Yeah.
And like, he has the best situation. I mean, like, what if I don't know if you're going to win out, but if you can get maybe 2 to 3 more wins, that looks really good for your resume. Like, whether they're going to keep you or not, it's one of those things that you're building, and you might fall into a head coaching job or stay at a head coaching job. And it's always good to put your best foot forward. And then I don't know if the guys are playing harder or what's different, but it's always good too, like a team responding the way that they are. And they have players there. Like, it's something where if everyone's cooking, like, or playing decent, they can win games.
They just have a lot of older players.
Yeah,
and they're going to be in cap trouble next year. And I just, like, the quarterback situation, you would have liked to see Rattler play better. And, so I don't know, man. They have always had that. We talked about this Friday. They always had that lately, that way of thinking of, like, let's just kick the can down the road with the cap. Let's just kick the can down the road. Let's keep trying to win. Let's convert some of these contracts into signing bonuses. And eventually you have to pay the piper.
Yeah.
Like, the cap is real in the NFL. Okay? And they're finding that out. They will find that out.
And what about my guy? Not to take lightly, if you just look at the numbers, Jameis had 395 passing yards.
Did he really?
Yes.
In a losing effort.
In a losing effort. Two
back
touchdowns.
home, back at his old stomping ground.
Yeah, he got the old mojo back or something. But 395 in a loss, 2 touchdowns. I think he had 2 receivers over 100. I might have made that up. But I think Njoku.
But
and
MVS.
Jerry
MVS. I
Jeudy.
saw MVS on the side
81.
TV.
Judy
Yeah.
had almost 150.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there it
And
was.
Judy. That might be an STL memorial.
Judy, yep.
Yeah.
Judge Judy.
I was gonna say Brian Brzee is playing well for the Saints, like young player.
That's good.
Super highly he's playing good too. Like the Saints, they have a pretty easy schedule.
They got the Riz.
I bet-
they got
hey,
the Riz in New Orleans. That should
They do have the
that
Riz.
should be the title.
We
down
like
there. We
Riz.
got the Riz in New Orleans.
We like Rizzy. We like Rizzy. But anyways, like, yeah, we didn't watch that game. So, but I did see MVS score a touchdown, so that was cool.
Catching some shots.
Yep. Shots. All right, you guys supposed to say everybody.
Everybody.
As we finish with our remaining BetMGM moments, thanks to BetMGM and all you football fans, I want you to picture something. You bet your favorite player as first touchdown scorer, but he throws a block to send a teammate into the end zone, and you lost your bet, right? No, because Nate bet 74 people to score first touchdown. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stakes back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Keep that in mind next time you throw in a first touchdown score bet with BetMGM. Happy hunting.
I want to do a bet one day where I just put like $1 on all of them for first touchdown and just see if it's like roulette and then no touchdowns that game happens. It's like roulette, you bet all the numbers and then green hits.
Bro, you're speaking French to me. Now, I do know roulette.
Yeah, like when you bet a bunch of numbers, it's going to hit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then bloop, green.
Green. That's probably, no, that's most likely.
But you can
roulette.
bet
Because, I mean, you could bet green. You could.
You could bet green. People in the chat, you could bet green. Hey, y'all. Is there anybody's birthday I'm forgetting besides Bo's? Like, is there any like major dates or congratulations in order to anybody? Anybody have a kid or something? Because I feel like the show's done.
We've got to fill out
I have a great mention.
Okay.
Moment. What a moment.
No, we were doing
Moment.
mentions during the show.
Oh, this
just
is
joking.
a great moment then, Chris. This is worst seat. My worst seat is Thrifold.
What's Thrifold?
First worst seat. Daniel Jones is getting his ass
Thrifold.
benched. That's a bad seat.
Bad seat.
Second bad seat of this whole situation is Drew Lock, who is being passed over for Andy DeVito to start.
But that's
because
strictly a
his
political
contracts
move.
are
No. Listen,
incentive
Bo.
based.
Oh, it's
His contracts are incentive based, so they're basically just saying like we're gonna play Tommy DeVito so that we can, get our fans back on our side. Italian Stallion.
I got 3 things.
Sell some tickets, get some pizza out. And then the final worst seat of this whole benching is the fact that we are going to have Cooper Rush versus Tommy DeVito on Thanksgiving, and one game that I am so personally excited. I'm always excited about Thanksgiving football, all right? It's just great. You're fat as hell. You eat a bunch of food, and then you watch football. But now I got to watch Cooper Rush, and I got to watch the Cowboys, and I got to watch the fucking Giants with fucking Tommy DeVito, and I'm going to fucking hate it. So that's my worst seat.
Did he just
Bo-
lose
Drew Lock,
the F meter?
Daniel Jones, and all of
He's
us.
close.
Fuck
He
that.
YouTube's going to flag us for that, bro. You just went on a generational run.
Bo, the good thing about that game is that we can see the nap we're gonna take already. We already know when it's. Yeah.
I am betting and watching that game. I would rather see that game than in the past. I've seen Dak and Heineke. I've seen Dak and Daniel Jones. I've seen Dak and a million people. And quite frankly, to pile on, I want to remind people this with Thanksgiving coming up. The NFL is out of its gourd to put every game inside on Thanksgiving. When you play a turkey bowl, what kind of family is like, let's go down to the rec center and play inside? Not American families. The NFL, you are misrepresenting your people. It's not fun to watch on TV. The lighting's bad. And quite frankly, with everybody staying inside all Thanksgiving, gambling and eating and being in a food coma, we don't want to watch people inside. We want to watch people outside. So this is what you get, in the words of Nate Collins, schedule makers, you POSs. Yep. This is what you get.
This is what you get.
Seriously, I hope the ratings are terrible. I'll be watching. I'll be in the chow line. But I hope the ratings are awful. Seriously, if you could pick a Thanksgiving, okay, let's scrap Thanksgiving. Let's end the show with this. Scrap Thanksgiving games. Which stadiums would you want to see? Which teams would you generally want to see on Thanksgiving?
Broncos Lions.
Birds.
In
Denver?
In Denver.
Bills only if it's snowing.
Oh, Bills for sure, dude.
Only if it's snowing.
But at that stadium.
No, I want to see a Lambeau game. Right?
I think the Thanksgiving night game is at Lambeau.
It's at Lambeau.
I think we do have one outside.
Okay, thank God. They always throw one in for us normal people. Okay?
But yeah, you have at Detroit, at Dallas, and then
I also like seeing a damn warm weather game. Like, give me a Miami game at home or something. Like, I want to see some green grass. Grass outside of my yard's yellow by that time. I want to see some warm weather. It's like the Corona commercial where they got a Christmas tree with the we want to feel warm. So give us a cold weather game, then give us a warm weather game.
And
I'm going to talk about a cold weather game.
What?
In my Fax viral moment, we're going up to Canada, where my old team, Winnipeg, unfortunately, they lost in the Grey Cup. But we got, during the game, a real streaker. A chick was butt booty naked.
I know, look at us, though, covering that up.
But the greatest thing about this, you know this is Canada. Look at these cops. Bro, look at these cops and how calm they are.
They gave her a jacket.
Yo, streakers in the United States, they get absolutely speared, obliterated. Like
you going by Bobby Wagner on the field, dude.
Oh, exactly. And
yeah, the cops were like, sorry, here's a jacket.
And while they're doing, and while they're,
can you please put your jacket on?
Please.
Okay.
And while they're pulling her off the field, the stadium DJ starts playing "Bad Boys, Bad Boys."
No way.
What you gonna do? So I just thought that was a great moment. It's funny,
dude. There's nothing less dangerous than a streaker. You can see there's no pockets. There's nothing in the pockets. There's like, what are you hiding, a bomb in your butt crack? Like, there's nothing dangerous about a streaker. We act way too OD about these streakers, honestly.
And I wonder if Canada is like United States with betting, and if someone had a bet, or if there was a bet in for the Grey Cup to have a streaker, and if so, who won the most, and if it's colluded.
You know what'd be really fun? I got a fun idea, and you're sweating out of your eyes again.
Yeah,
huh?
it gets hot in here by the end of the show. These lights.
Okay, let me tell you something. If every game, you don't know when it happens, there's like a BetMGM streaker. It doesn't have to be a naked person, but like a person that takes the field. And you know how now they cut away?
Yep.
It's so stupid. Don't cut away. I want to see it. Like you're not going to – they make documentaries about murderers, but they're telling me I can't watch a streaker because it reinforces bad behavior. It might make me want to streak. I watched 2 episodes of Jeffrey Dahmer. Haven't killed anybody yet. Just not a good decision. Okay? So I just – like, let the streaker streak, and I think one a game would be awesome, and it would add to the fanfare if, like, the players got to deck the streaker. Like, I think players would love that. I don't think a lot of players would get hurt.
I think that would deter the streakers more than them, not showing it on.
No, but they pay the streakers.
And then on top of that,
it's like,
look,
no, it's like part of the deal.
They get paid,
like
but
Mr.
also
Freeze
too
is out there as a streaker.
And think how much marketing you can get on that too. Like, hey, green light, the streaker, he's going second quarter this week.
Yeah.
$500,000.
Yeah,
we'll make them
someone
have
in
a
the
green
chat,
light. We'll make them have a green
streak
light
for
hat
the
on or a green
Thanksgiving
light.
Giants Cowboys game, so we can hopefully just streak for a while, run around for a while. You distract from that bullshit ass game.
You know how like corporations, they're like, we got this NFL player to come on Zoom. We're gonna pay an NFL player a bunch of money to talk to our HR department, or like like our accounting department is like a gift. Like I've been on these calls, or like appearances. You know what the best gift would be? Like H&R Block's going to nominate one employee to get decked. Like that. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
The
the H&R Block that play of the game
of that quarter.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got to go run out of the.
Who would volunteer as tribute here?
Oh,
it would be you for sure.
Deck.
No chance.
No,
Dude,
you'd have to
Cowboy
bring
was
out
trying
there.
to get me to fucking deck his ass when we went to the Badger football game.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be like, Quinn, hit me, bulldoze me, Quinn.
The first guy.
I love you.
The first guy who has to do it has to be the actor that does the Mayhem commercials.
My son hates that guy because You know what's so funny? Those commercials are too good. My son, like, one day was like, Dad, I don't like that guy. I was like, why? He's like, look at how he treats people. I'm like, you just don't get the concept, son.
Mayhem.
He hasn't even seen Oz.
No, he hasn't. Wait till you meet
Oh
Ryan
my
O'Reilly.
God!
Wait
I
till you meet-
forgot that's him.
Yeah, it's him. It's Ryan O'Reilly.
Oh,
Shout out to Adebisi.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Shout
been
out
watching
to-
those commercials lately. He looks like
Schillinger.
JJ Watt. I don't know what it is. He's out there in that driving that car in the mascot thing. You know that
You
one?
think he looks like JJ Watt?
Pull it up.
Best
I gotta see
Stevie.
it to believe it.
Player comp. It's in there.
Player comp, JJ Watt is a pretty good one.
You were talking about gifting the ability to be on the field and be tackled by somebody. I want Nate to gift us a first touchdown score for tonight, if you have one.
I do have one. I have two, but I'll give you guys one.
Do both.
I'll give you both.
Do
if you're
both.
a Cowboys fan, we're going with Cooper Rush. I don't know what to expect from him, honestly, and I think that's why this bet is so intriguing to me.
Yeah.
And it's plus 4,000. The Cowboys, they are on thin ice, so they're going to try anything and everything to try to get into the end zone. So I think a quarterback run maybe might be the way with a backup quarterback. And then if you're a Houston fan, I like Robert Woods, also a long shot bet for first touchdown at plus 4,000. I think he's a guy, he does get passes, he does get looks. He's a vet. I think vets, when they get into the red zone, end zone, you might be able to find those pockets to find your way open. So those are my bets. And remember, with BetMGM, if your first touchdown bet doesn't hit and they score second, you get your bet back.
What about Turpin, huh? You feel like Turpin might score? Oh.
Hey, bro, it's up in the air with the first bet.
Hey, here's a bet I really like tonight. And a lot of times on Mondays, y'all are like, what do you think? And I'm like, I haven't even thought about it.
Tell us.
The under, bro.
Ooh.
Like, is that chalky? Like, what's the
It moved down from 42 to 41.
which is fine. I don't know, man. Talk me into the over. You know, like it's hard. You know, this pass rush, Cooper Rush. I mean, Cooper Rush is capable. But what are they going to score? 17 points?
The ghost of Ezekiel Elliott comes back, and they just go crazy.
You know who's got a ghost problem? The Jets. That's what I heard. I heard Rodgers says they're still dealing with ghosts of the past. That's why. It's not this team's fault. It's the old team's fault. And it's certainly not his fault. It's the team's fault. But if
Never his.
Took a little too much ayahuasca and he's seeing ghosts out there.
And you guys give him, he's
Hey, he's a
POS.
braver man than me going down and doing that stuff. I'd be afraid to come back a different person on ayahuasca.
Man.
I think I'd like that for you.
You would like that. I walked into that one.
He sold his Achilles for ayahuasca.
Hey, anything else? We good to go?
We're good.
Hey,
I
chat.
just want to say I'm fucking tired of watching the Cowboys. That's it. That's all I got. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm not doing another Monday Night Football.
I'm gonna
Monday
be
Night
in the
Football
chow
Cowboys. Like, come
I'm
on.
gonna be in the chow line. I'm gonna be betting the under tonight. I think
Is the NFL, is viewing the NFL like a drug, maybe?
maybe.
Like,
I think maybe. Yeah. I think
Like, if-
gambling
if-
made it a drug. You know, it's like like it feels great.
like if they just took NFL away from you for like 3 weeks and you couldn't look at the scores after everything, like you think you'd just be like, you'd be itching if you knew it was football season?
I might take that break if y'all gave it to me right now. You would not hear from me for 3 weeks.
He's going to Mykonos.
I'd be going to Mykonos.
Mykonos.
Shout out to the Greek Freak. Hey, chat, we love you. We love you so much, chat.
And we'll see you on Friday.
And listeners, we'll see you on Friday. Take care.